That was horrible.
I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both.
Now, what is this puppet doing in the studio with us today? We are in the studio of love today, and we have this puppet here on board with us. Please explain yourself. You are.
I am Science Jim.
This is Science Jim, everyone. What are you doing here?
The perfect version of me.
Yes.
Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater?
This sounds a bit vulgar and nothing like real love. Like I, a Frenchman, know. I know everything about love. It is the lovely time and the lovely year, lovely 2024.
If you say love one more time, I will jump off this couch.
I love you.
Wow, he didn't fly off my hand how I thought he was going to.
Welcome on. You are my fellow French co-host of this podcast.
Oh, am I a Frenchman?
That is right. It is the
me.
time of love, and what better place for love than in France?
Fun times.
We love the
I
love.
love the feathers, and I love
The feathers and
the boudoir.
the boudoir.
And I
Oh,
love
the boudoir.
You know what I love? I love the chafing dishes that you put the plates into when you plate food. And I love, what is it called? The armoire. Ooh,
You know what I
the
love?
armoire.
I love the stinky cheese. The stinky cheese, and you cut it into the shape of a heart.
Ooh, and it
that
smells
is
bad,
wonderful.
but it tastes good.
But it tastes really good.
You know what else I love?
What else do you love?
Over in America, there's this podcast.
Oh,
It is called-
we love the podcast.
That
So
was
what is it?
horrible.
That was horrible.
Horrible.
Horror. Oh, let's read horrible.
Oh, this is weird. This is an extra. Oh,
They must have spelled it wrong.
They
or
must have
something.
spelled it wrong.
But it's a great podcast.
It is a great podcast. They have these puppies
And there's
and
a
the
puppet
characters.
and
There's a
the
horse
bits.
sometimes.
It takes them about an hour to get into the point of
They
the
talk
movie.
about Garfield so much.
What
but I
is it?
love us a Garfield.
The Garfield, the cat.
The
I know, he's
Garfield.
so good.
I am in love with the Garfield, actually.
And remind me, what are the names of these co-hosts?
Oh, it's a fucker named Isaac.
Oh, that's right. And there's the other fucker. His name is Derek.
Oh, that's very good. Very
and what
funny.
does it they do on this podcast?
They review horror movies.
Oh.
But not any old horror movie.
Not any of them. They're really rotten
No,
ones.
it's just rotten.
But not bad.
No. Do you think any of the people listening can hear what we're saying?
I hope anyone can understand.
They probably tried to turn on captions, but it is a podcast.
It is a podcast. There are no captions. Unless you're on YouTube or something.
Hey, who are you guys?
Hey,
Shit. What?
You're in the studio. What do you...
I'm a go.
Did you? I mean, I don't know. Did they double book us in
They
the
must
studio?
have
They must have double
double-booked
booked us. Yes.
Can we-
Well, I'm taking the snacks and the Garfield with me. No,
Wait,
not the
don't say Garfield.
Oh,
Oh, God, what is he doing to Garfield?
I don't know.
Garfield
Don't-
looks happy.
He looks. Maybe he's living a better life out there.
This is your lasagna.
Oh my god!
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. If you could not tell, based
you
on
didn't
our
understand, if you couldn't
awful
discern.
accents there, let's give it one more take. Hi, I am Isaac,
And I'm Derek.
and this is
That Was Horrible.
This is our podcast where we do our best
At reviewing the worst.
in the horror movies. So
In the
it's
horror
in the
movies.
horror movie.
We need to take it again,
Yeah.
but I don't want to.
No, just imagine we did it, okay? We
Go listen to our intro thing.
Pretend that we finished it in post, okay? We made a trailer about it. We did a lot better in
We'll
that one.
post it.
But we are in the time of love, you guys. It is love
in the
love
air.
season, if you will. And we have to apologize. We are big, dirty, stinky liars.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Because last time we were recording, we did an episode with Tynan Portillo
Yeah,
of the
we did,
Post Show
the Post Show.
podcast.
Hope you
It was a
liked it.
great
Hope you
time.
listened to it.
Hope you checked that one out. I know it was a bit of a lengthier one.
If
but,
you're new, go
it's-
back.
Yeah, go back and listen to it. But yeah, it was a really fun time to have like a guest on, have that kind of energy in the studio. It was really fun. But we did, just because it was a lot to figure out having a third person on the podcast the whole time and stuff like that. It was it took us a second to figure out how to do that. There was a lot going on that day. So we said we were going to watch
Yeah,
Popcorn
we
from
did.
1991. We're going to put that
Said
off.
we ate popcorn.
Said we ate popcorn while watching a different movie because we forgot Valentine's Day is here.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Welcome.
The big old heart. The big old red heart in the
Big ol'
sky
the
that
big
will
red
burn
heart
you if
day.
you get too close to it.
Yeah, you know, Icarus, he flew too close to the heart.
Icarus, no. Oh my God, is that what that story's about?
That's
he
all
flew
what
too
it's
close
all
to
about.
love?
Icarus, no. Icarus, you can't hear me. You have your AirPods in.
But he's in the air. and he's wearing a pod.
So it's like the ye old AirPods is what it was. But yeah, so this week instead we decided to watch a little more of a thematic movie. So this is something of a Valentine's Day episode for you guys. Not necessarily a special.
It's a special
episode, a special normal day.
Listen, we're busy guys. We've done something like 68 episodes in the last year.
Wow.
Which we're coming up on 1 year. That's we'll talk about that later. And so like, why not just turn it into a normal episode? We're busy guys. Let's just it's like, you know when you have a blender.
Yeah.
This is the blender.
And
And you take a handful of fruit and you pack it in.
Yeah, you shove it all in there. Yeah.
And you turn it on and it's going it's like there's not enough liquid in the water.
Let's just get a little more Foley of us like doing the blender kind of struggling.
Yeah. And then you start to smell it.
Now we're a dial-up modem.
Oh no, it's on fire! Oh no, the house is burning down!
Get Lisa!
Oh, Lisa.
George, get the kids! I can't. Bonnie has them.
George, the kids. My house is also on fire, and you have me on speed dial. Dial the fire department.
Okay, this is stupid.
It's a hard thing because I'm like, George and Bonnie are like your characters. I don't want to add to their lore.
Well, you didn't give them voices. You got to give them the voices.
That's true.
It's like, so, hey, Bonnie.
Yep,
So Bonnie's like down there and like a Bonnie.
Yeah.
And then George, go away, George.
Go away, George.
I'm on
Hey,
fire.
Bonnie.
Go away, George. I'm on fire.
Bonnie, I'm here to save you from the fire.
No, George, go away. I have big strong man Bill over here. He's helping me.
Hey, it's me, Bugs, Big Strong Bill. You better get
Bill.
out of here.
Oh, Bill, you're so strong. Pick me up.
You love me for my muscles. I picked you up with my pinky. I'm so strong.
Oh, I love it when you put your pinky in me.
All right, I'm going to go now.
Anyway, that was the love story. See, it all connects.
It's all love.
See,
love is in
you
the
at
air,
home were
you
like,
guys.
wow, they're trying to recycle these characters. And us at that was horrible are like, no. This is content.
These characters are clearly in love. Here
This
we
is
have.
content.
There's a lot of love going on in this podcast. You got Bonnie and George and their struggles and their relationship.
Bill now.
You've got
Now
Bill,
they're a throuple.
Now Bill's there. Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
It's a
there.
weird thing.
It's a weird thing. We
He
try
kind
not
of
to
likes
ask too
getting
many
cucked,
questions,
but we don't really talk
It's
about
fine. Yeah, you've also got Science Jim and Math Jane. They're
Oh, don't talk about that.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh,
Did you bring her into the equation?
No,
Get it? Equation because of math.
She's not. It's gonna be.
This is our first Valentine's Day apart.
Oh,
It's actually both our first Valentine's Day ever. I was conceived.
You respond this year.
Why doesn't she love me anymore?
I don't know.
Why?
What happened between the two of you? What?
Math Jade.
Uh-huh.
Math Jade. Math Jade. Math Jade. Are you singing Jolene? That song's not
It
about
doesn't
loving
really
her.
work, honestly.
I don't care. I'm singing every song about her. Give me a song. I'll sing it about Math Jane.
Okay. Sing. Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Math Jane had a little heart.
Oh,
little heart.
heart.
It wasn't big enough for me.
Oh, Jim, I'm so sorry for your loss. Maybe you can sit this episode out. It might be a little love heavy.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Oh, okay. And he's out.
I see him. He's over at the ATM. He's pulling out a bunch of ones.
Like
I'm not going
what-
to ask him what he's doing.
There are other characters we've created. I mean, what would you consider Gooper and Bawhead Bex? What is their situation?
Amalgamous, analogous.
Amalgamagus.
I think is the word.
Yeah, that's the word. So what is like I would consider there's a love there, right?
Yeah. So Bawhead Bex, for those of you who don't know,
Uh-huh.
he was a creature.
It was a
I found
creature
him
that
in
was
my backyard.
created years ago
Yeah,
on this
oh my God.
podcast.
Almost a year ago, actually.
Wow.
That is weird. And then there was, of course, Gooper. And together
it was a goopy, slimy. He's basically like knockoff Slimer from Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So you got in the world of the ecosystem, you have different ways of reproducing. You know, you got spitting out eggs and spitting on top of the eggs.
like the fish are wont to do.
What a sentence. And you've got, coitus.
Yeah, and everyone's favorite coitus.
Everyone's favorite coitus. You've
You
also
know
got-
him, you love him.
Hey, it's coitus.
Hey,
What's
it's
up?
me, Coitus, and back in the house.
Yo, what's up, coitus?
Yeah, get
Hey.
fist bump, you,
Hey,
fist
you-
bump. We all just fisted.
Coitus.
Hey, oh, it's me, I'm Big Coitus. Doop.
That was the sound of him swishing a basket.
I got that.
He's kind of an
you
asshole.
must be pretty busy right now, Coitus.
Oh, it's the season for me. I'm big and I'm sweating and I'm tired, guys. It's a hard life being Coitus around this time of the year.
Do you ever wonder why most people are born in November?
Why is that?
It's 9 months after February.
Hey-o, that's it. So
it's the season of sex. It's the season of Coitus.
It's the season of Coitus. It's the season of me, and I got work to do. Let's get to back.
So does Coitus is he like the grandma in Midsummer? Is he just like standing there pushing the butt?
Oh, every time. Yeah, that's the thing. Some people think it's like some kind of like sleep paralysis demon. Instead, it's Big Coitus chilling in the corner.
Oh my god, Big Coitus.
Like rubbing his hands together like it's all coming. It's all going according to plan.
It's all coming now. That's a bad joke. All right, so this episode, I just decided we're gonna have a parental advisory at the beginning.
It's very normal for podcasts to put a parental advisory 10 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, right. I think there's a lot of sex talk. There's a lot of coitus talk. Coital conversation.
Are they two different things? So you're saying Big Sex just left Big Coitus just left the room. Big Sex is here though.
Yo, what's up, Big Sex?
It kind of feels like it's basically just Big Coitus.
Can I?
Hey, yo, it's me, Big Coitus. How about... No, what the hell is this guy doing in here?
Hey, it's me, Big Sex.
I didn't...
I sound a lot like Science Jim for some reason.
No, I told you, no, we couldn't. Yeah, it's his other half, It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
You're right.
There's Science Jim, and then there's Big Sex.
When he's strolling the streets, is like this little twink. Yo, it's me, Big Sex. And then Big Coitus comes out.
Hey, it's me, Big Coitus.
Oh my God.
And then Science Jim freaks out, and he goes, you wouldn't like me when I'm horny. And then he turns into Big Sex.
You wouldn't like me when I'm horny. It's like when you're watching a TV show, like on autoplay.
Yeah.
And then randomly you get a parental notice.
And you're like, I've been watching this show for 2 seasons now. What do you mean parental advisory right now?
But then you watch that episode and you're trying to find the thing.
The whole time you're like, what could be the thing?
That happened to me the other day, and the whole time I was watching the episode, I was like, what is it?
And then Big Sex walks into the room.
Big Sex walks in. I'm like,
sauntering on in, like, that's it. That's it.
What's up, Coito?
Yo.
Do you think he goes by Coit for his friends?
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, Coit? Hey, you here to do some fucking...
No, Coitus was my father. Please call me Coit.
God, we've already got a parental notice on our episodes. What are we going to do with this one?
I have no idea. What could be worse?
Don't listen at work.
Yeah.
It's like not safe for work, but
can we get an NC-17 rating on a podcast?
I mean, we probably could.
Probably could.
I
don't know if we should push those boundaries.
So... riff with me for a second.
All right.
We haven't been doing that.
Now is the time to riff. I'm glad we finally established we're going to riff right now.
I already sang the song Jolene.
Yeah.
Right? But the reason that came to my head is because I looked up Garfield's girlfriend's name.
Oh my God.
Garfield's girlfriend's name is Arlene.
Garfield's girlfriend's name is Arlene.
Picture yourself in the room, in the house, right? You're at Garfield's house, right? You're Odie.
I was going to ask.
You're
Odie.
So I'm Odie. So you're standing in the
situation.
corner, right?
Yep.
And you see Arlene walk in.
Uh-huh.
Go up to Garfield and you're like, Arlene, please don't take my Garfield.
Please don't take it.
Doesn't know the whole.
So we're further establishing the whole Odie is in love with Garfield. Then Arlene comes in the door,
and that it all comes crashing down.
Can we talk for a second about the song Jolene?
I love that song.
It's a great song by a wonderful performer, right? Dolly Parton is fantastic, right? Wonderful, wonderful woman. She is stunning. Even at her current age, still wow, she is fantastic, right? What on earth could Jolene have looked like to pull the man away from Dolly Parton? God damn, must have been some ethereal being. That's in the unedited version of Jolene where she talks about she's like a celestial being of light. Because that's all that could have happened because Dolly Parton is gorgeous.
The part where he talks about you in his sleep, there's nothing I can do from keep from crying. It's that it's actually he sees you in his dreams at night. You come down from the clouds so bright.
You seep into his dream.
You seep into his mind,
driven him to madness. So Jolene is really like an eldritch being.
With eyes of many colored hair.
Tentacles, there are many pairs.
Good God, Jolene.
So it's actually a horror song.
Yes.
It's not only a song about sadness and heartbreak about losing her man. It is about, this eldritch being Jolene. Jolene the Elder.
You could suck the brains of men, but you chose mine to love again. Please don't take him, Jolene, celestial being.
Jolene, celestial being. That's beautiful. Guys,
that's pretty good.
But see, so this song is the opposite of what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about love. And this week...
Well, Jolene's about love.
I guess it is about love lost. And that might have to do with the movie we watched for this episode, because this week we decided to watch Cupid from 2020.
And I think that was a choice we made.
It was a choice you made. I specifically remember because I was like, Derek, we should watch a Valentines episode because we forgot to say that at the end of the last one. And I was like, what about this one? It's rated low enough. You're like, no. Check out this movie called Cupid.
Yeah, check this bullshit out.
And some bullshit it is, let me say. Just from the trailer alone.
It felt like if Glee was bad.
Yes.
And directed by a 10-year-old and then filmed in some unbelievable portion of the world where everyone has different accents.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the whole movie.
That's all. Thank you. Join us next week for the other movie. No, we'll get into this, but like, wow, guys, Cupid is a movie for
Cupid
sure.
Is a movie.
I do think it is one of is a movie.
It's a movie.
Yes, it is me, and I love the movie.
I love the movie.
Like we let the French guys back in there. Get out.
It's a movie.
Throw salt on you. Go, get out of here, Joe. Joe. You know, just go. It's Joe.
My favorite French name.
Yeah, exactly.
Go with me as Joe.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh my God,
Hello,
my
it is
dream
me.
one
I
day.
am the perfect Frenchman, and my name is Joe.
Oh, I love Joe.
Yes, everyone loves. You love Joe Jonas. You love Joe
Bonaparte.
Joe Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon Dynamite.
That's pretty good. Where were you going?
I was just where I was going with that. This might be the very first movie we have watched for the podcast because we go to usually
the first movie we've watched.
It's the very first movie we've watched for the podcast. We've been faking it this entire time. We've been
never
lying.
watched a movie. Just read the synopsis.
I've never watched a movie in my life until this one. But it's the first movie for the podcast that we've watched where when we go to Rotten Tomatoes to get the score, there's usually a tomato meter and an audience score. Yeah. This one just has an audience score. There is no tomato meter ranking for this one.
If you're one of our favorites, which if you are, shout out to you, kisses.
If you listen to this podcast, you're one of our favorites. All of my children are my favorites.
Oh.
All of you ghouls.
They're ghouls. No, like, by now, we tend to stay between, 30% and below on the tomato meter.
Exactly.
Specifically for the critic score, because it's fun to debate if the critics were right or the audience was right.
I mean, Underworld, right? Underworld had a much higher ranking than the critics score did, right? And those are really fun.
Over the year, we've been a little bit more laxative about that.
Yeah. Laxative.
Yeah.
It's all just flushed right out. It's all coming. Woo. Yeah, guys, parental advisory for this episode for sure.
Because diarrhea is the worst thing we've talked about this
Honestly,
episode.
it doesn't get worse than diarrhea.
It really doesn't.
That's the worst that it gets.
I got nothing to riff on with diarrhea, and that's probably okay.
That's okay. The diarrhea stops here.
But with Cupid from 2020, it was sitting at a 14% for the audience. So we're like, okay, that counts. There's a couple reviews on I guess you could technically call this a 0% because there are 3 reviews that are all zeros.
That's fair, honestly. But yeah, I think it is one of the I had a point and I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, do you need me?
No, maybe.
I'll beat you a box. A big pink, a big pink, a big pink, and a big pink.
I like your little song, High Horse. That's pretty good.
I had a week off.
Let me climb on my soapbox and see if I remember the point. We try not to, we've avoided the movies. There's a lot of them that have no percentage on either side, no audience, no tomato meter score. So we'll try to avoid those. But I think the ones that just have an audience rating have just as much a say in this one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think for some clarification, the reason we tend to avoid those ones is because they all kind of fall into that birdemic category, right?
Exactly.
Where it's just this is a very low budget movie. We're not here to rip those movies apart.
Exactly.
Which we don't really rip movies apart anyway.
Try not to, at least.
But we give those ones the benefit of the doubt where it's okay, this is a small project.
Right.
This movie definitely checks all the boxes for a movie that belongs on this podcast.
Absolutely it does. 100% here.
Oh my God, hey, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking over here? You mean this fine red concoction I have in my hand here?
Hello, it's me, Bilbo Bartender.
Bilbo Bartender!
I'm back once
you
again.
Brought back my very best friend.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Zick.
Oh.
I'm here today.
Are you cold? Are you shivering? You okay?
Oh, it's a little chilly where you keep me in the freezer.
Well, that's how we keep you fresh, Bilbo Bartender.
I'm right there with the vodka. I make love to that vodka. Anyway,
What?
so
you do what?
This is For some reason in my notes, I wrote this as the 53rd drink, but it's not. It's not that. It's love's arrow. Mm-hmm. And inside this drink, you got one beating heart. Okay. You got one shot of rum, a shot of strawberry puree. You've got a splash of blood orange syrup and some ice. Now what you do is you shake that. You shake it so good. And then you put it on the table and you beat it. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, so like the rhythm of a heartbeat.
You need to rhythmically beat that for about 2 hours.
2 hours? Wow, I guess you got time in the freezer to make this.
Pour it into your glass. Pour some club soda over the top.
Ooh, okay.
And then 1 rose petal. You got yourself a little sweet top for your sweetheart.
That's gorgeous.
Love's arrow strikes again. Soupy twist.
Wow. And he's just sucked back into the void.
Sometimes the sound effects that get made on this podcast are shocking.
Sometimes it's just like, I don't know what sound is about to come out of my mouth.
I know. And then I slurp.
Honestly, this podcast sometimes can be like a runway where I'm just like running and running and hoping I don't trip. And something. Oh, there we go.
I love Foley work. It is the
Gordita Crunch of podcasts.
Hey, wait, I'm gonna have a Gordita Crunch real quick.
Yeah. And I'm in line behind you. I'm like, yeah, I'll have a large number 4. No sour cream on that though, okay? Yeah. I've come back to rescue you guys from mouth sounds. I'm sorry.
You know, it's the funniest thing about that is literally my least favorite thing.
You hate mouth sounds.
I will,
but you make them a lot
because it's like delving into your worst fear. It's like Batman jumping into the cave of bats.
You're gonna go back and listen to this episode and be like, nope, delete it. We're
delete,
gonna scratch,
start over,
do it again.
Start over.
Never
Edit
mind.
That out.
Valentine's Day next year, we'll get it then. But this time, no.
Hey, how's Garfield feeling about Valentine's Day?
Garfield feels a certain way about Valentine's Day. Hello, everyone. It's us again. We're back with your weekly Garfield horror scope.
I love how you said that like it was like the end of a bit. And then it was like,
now we're on to our next
episode.
New episode.
Segment.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're on to our segment, the Garfield horror scope.
How many teeth does Garfield have?
Too many teeth. Now that I'm looking at it in
All
front of
he
me.
wants for Christmas is
Let's see.
less
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. So he's got 12 teeth just in the one frame there. That's a lot of teeth for a cartoon character.
Some teeth. He's losing some teeth. Garfield should go lose teeth.
So let's make a new. Once Garfield is in the public domain, can we make a movie called Garfield the Teeth Hunter?
Ooh.
And it's like he kills the tooth fairy, and now he's taking the position, and he's just like hunting them down. He's got a mouth. It's like a shark, right? They have multiple rows of teeth, except it's all just like random collections of mismatched teeth within there. Yeah, that's nasty.
Hey guys, it's me, Garfield. I'm here to collect your teeth. What voice is this?
I like how it's not spooky at all.
No, it's just
he
normal
might look
Garfield.
Terrifying, but then he talks, and it's a very normal Garfield
impression.
impression.
So give me tense music.
Yeah.
There's a little girl sleeping in her bed. In the corner of her bed, she sees a fuzzy cat. The cat looks up. His eyes grow, the light beaming from his eyes. Then the grin comes. Spaces between each teeth, different teeth littering the face. He tilts his head. Hey, I'm here for your teeth. I'm going to take them out of your mouth now. He leans forward with some pliers. He rips one teeth at a time out of your mouth. This is horrible. All right, this will be good. Thanks. I'm going to go take this back. It's been me, Chris Pratt. Bye.
And that's your tense. That's your horror movie Garfield.
So there was something about that was actually creepy.
That was actually terrifying.
There's something about that dead monotone. Hey, I'm here to till your teeth.
You're right. No,
like
honestly, because you expected to speak in like a, it is me, the devil. I'm gonna take your teeth. Like something whimsical like that, but just have a straight, just monotone.
Just doing the day job.
And that's something scary about the fact that like he doesn't care. He doesn't mind. This is just a day for him, you know. It's another Monday.
Oh, look at it. It's fucking Monday again. Here we go. Man, I have said the fuck word like more today than I think I have in the entire podcast.
It's fine. We've got the parental advisory on this episode now.
We have it on every episode.
You're right. So let's talk about our Garfield horror scope for this week. The cover photo for this one's got a picture of Garfield covered in chocolates. He just tore into. He's always fat. You know? That's why we love it. A skinny Garfield is not a world I want to live in. But he's tore into a box of chocolates. So we got a love themed episode here. It includes Arlene, not the Eldritch being Arlene from the song. I guess that's Jolene. But it is just Garfield's pink cat girlfriend in this one, okay?
I love how anything
anything that had to do with that song is now a celestial being.
No, exactly. Any connection to that, everyone involved. Dolly Parton is a celestial being in her own way, right?
Celine Dion, celestial being. Celine Dion.
That's
oh my
it.
God, Dion means God in some language.
It all connects.
So,
it all connects. Okay, so let's break down this Garfield comic this week, right? So we have Garfield putting on a show that includes like his dancing girlfriend and the mailman, who quote really delivers. And then the mice are back as well.
The mice are dancing.
There's a lot of characters going on here, but then at the very end of it, we've got John looking at all of this footage from his security camera.
Okay.
And he's like, "Wow, Garfield thinks this is Neighborhood's Got Talent, I guess, because he's in front of a camera, right?" So who do you want to take a specific someone in this?
Yeah. We got to give the horoscope, right?
Yeah.
Because the horoscope is like Gemini or Garfield.
Exactly, right. So what are you?
What are the other ones? Taurus.
No, that's it.
Or John.
There are 2 star signs. There's Gemini and there's Garfield.
I'm feeling really Garfield today. I just Geminis and Garfields don't really get along, but this time they do. What am I doing?
All right, so, this is a fun character. No, I like this.
It's me.
This is
Horoscope
Garfield.
Horty.
This is horoscope what now?
Horty.
Horty?
It sounded like Horty, but I said Horty.
I think that's the funny
it's
bit.
Me,
though.
Horoscope Horty.
Oh my God! So I think I'm the mailman in this one for sure.
Oh.
So tell me about.
Way to push your gender on
horoscope Horty. Tell me about Garfield this week.
I mean, think about the word mailman. We get it, dude. You are a mailman.
We understand.
You don't have to shove it in our faces.
Shoving your
Take
mail
your penis
agenda
away
down our throats.
I am on one today, and I cannot be stopped. I am a train that is in and out of that station.
Keep running, train. Chugga, chugga, choo, choo.
I'm definitely John today.
Oh, okay, so you're John.
Give me the mailman.
All right, so the mailman, he's stumbled into the situation, and he is absolutely making the most of it. Wasn't aware that there was going to be Neighborhood's Got Talent going on at this one house he was going to deliver. Thought it was just going to be another average day. So my horoscope for you, the mailman's horoscope for you is you will come across a day pretty soon, maybe even Valentine's Day, where you think your day is going to be average, humdrum. Find yourself in a fun situation. Make the most of it.
That's beautiful.
Because this mailman comes in here and he really delivers. Hops up in the air. He's throwing his mail. He's got his finger to the sky like he's Hamilton. And
he's hamming it up.
He's really hamming it up. And so, please live in that moment. Something is going to come up soon, and have fun with it. Just let yourself be. This mailman is being his true self. So when that time arises, be you. Be the mailman you were always meant to be.
So with John is sitting here on his computer watching everything from the security camera, and he's like, well, Garfield thinks this is Neighborhood's Got Talent, but to me it's just a security camera.
Of course.
And I think there's actually a lot to unpack here. So let's do that. Let's pull out our backpacks. And looking at this from a very literal standpoint, I mean, you've got John, he's just trying to check who's at his front door.
It's simple,
and he looks out, and Garfield's having a whole show of it.
There's a whole dance. There's dancing mice and dancing cats and mailmen. There's a lot going on.
And John with his eyes to the sky, and by that I mean his eyes are huge. He's talking about how Garfield is doing this, but he's saying it in such a way that you're like, oh, he isn't enjoying this. He's not having a great time. Where his cat and his dog and his cat's girlfriend, who's dancing with his dog, and his cat's 4 mice and the mailman.
Do you think John approves of his relationship? Do you think he has to get the father's permission do you think he likes Arlene at all?
I don't think so.
He doesn't like Arlene.
Showing up. What? Garfield, your cat's in here.
Hey, Garfield, your cat's here again.
No, but really, let's stop riffing for a second. Let's talk about this for real.
This is real talk.
So you got John, and he's. What are you holding?
I was just putting it. It's out in the room. I put it up and out of the air.
Oh man, we're making really funny bits up.
Flying into the sky.
Making a bit over here. It's really funny.
Hey, it's me. I'm bitting it over here.
Oh shit, you bit me. Oh god.
Oh god. Oh. Count Trivia is loose. He's loose in the studio, biting everybody around. Blah, 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 blah.
Anyway, so really though, when you look at a situation, everyone is going to have a different perspective, right?
Of course, yeah.
From
this
Garfield's
is John's perspective,
he's giving something great to the world. He's trying to create a viral video. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to be cute.
I mean, yeah, going back to the mailman thing, making the most of your situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mundane. There's a security camera. Mundane. Oh man, you think there's a connection there?
There's a connection there.
There's something
What's
there.
What's the etymology of mundane? I bet you anything, it's Monday.
It might actually, or vice versa. Who knows which way it goes.
That's hilarious.
But it's Garfield is making the most of the situation, right? It could just be your average security camera, whatever. We're going to have a fun time.
But then what's fucking John's problem, huh? He's sitting there and he's like, I'm bored out of my mind. I hate my life. I'm not going to enjoy their life. Every one of you has someone in your life like this. That's like, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to be annoyed at it.
There are people
Why not open your mind?
Who are just professional like haters. They dislike fun. Garfield is having fun. He's not even. There are many Garfield comics where he's causing a ruckus for John in his life.
Yeah,
like setting inconveniences for him. Right? He's not doing that in this comic. He is simply dancing with all of his buddies, making a new friend with the mailman.
He's just playing with the mice.
Yeah,
he is making friends with his lifelong enemy, John. Listen, look at that. You should be happy.
It is fantastic.
He's playing with the thing that wanted to kill him.
But instead, you have chosen to be well, hold on.
Turn that sword
enemies
around.
to lovers real quick, Odie and Garfield. But he has chosen to be a hater in this situation. He has chosen to be upset and not enjoy their fun time. John, step into the room. Thank you for joining us here today, John.
What's up? It's me, John.
Yes, we've come to discuss the fact that you were something of a hater, and our viewers are not really loving it these days.
What do you expect from me? I ain't got no love, and they love got not me.
Well, I mean, last week we mentioned you and your girlfriend, right? It was Liz, I think was her
girlfriend.
name?
She's more of a girl than a friend.
I'm okay, John. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to do this. I really hate to be the bad guy, but I need you to hand over your Groucho Marx glasses.
No, this makes me
no. Hand them over, John.
If you take them off me, I'll die.
You know what? We're willing to take that chance. Here
well, dye me red because I've been shot.
Oh. Who shot John? And you look off into the distance, and who's there on a tall skyscraper with a sniper rifle, steam coming out of the barrel? It's Nermal.
Oh my God, it's Nermal!
Nermal did it.
Nermal did it. Nermal's got a gun. Nermal's gonna shoot me with his gun.
So wrap up
That's
exactly
wrong
what
song, wrong tune,
a little bit,
but it was that other song.
So wrap up exactly what our horoscope for John specifically is here.
The point of John is to, when you see a situation, don't look at it cynically. Right? Yeah. Try and look everything with that silver lining. Pay attention to the fact that, you've got a cat and mice playing together, having a great time. Maybe appreciate that. Maybe learn to love that.
Like the food chain is off the charts here. You got dog playing with cat playing with mouse. I mean, none of them are killing each other.
And also,
dog playing with mailman.
Dog playing with mailman.
Dog chase mailman.
God!
Dog chase mailman.
And even mail they're being played with. Like, what the hell?
And mouse eat mail. It all comes together.
This is probably one of the most coexist comics comics I've ever read in my life.
You will never see something like this. So don't be a hater. Open your heart to the wonderful situation that is unfolding in front of you.
And what do you call it? The Aristocrats.
Oh my God.
And I have officially crossed a line. Don't look that up. So now we're going to move on.
So back into the podcast that we do. Hey, we're back here with the silly podcast hosts.
So this week we watched... Hey, that was pretty...
I'm done.
All right, Louie. All right.
Louie. It's Isaac. Isaac is mine. You know my name, right? After all the...
Louie?
After 53 episodes,
Louie?
Isaac.
Louie?
Hey, everyone, that was horrible. I'm your co-host, Louie, I guess, because Derek doesn't want to remember my name.
Listen, I was embarrassed. I had to force my agenda on you.
I'm gonna call up a demon of anti-love to kill you now.
What do you want? It's me. I'm back from the liquor store.
Everyone is just Science Jim this episode.
No, it's me, Science Jim, literally.
Oh,
That's what I was doing. He's back from the liquor store. I just spent $48 on strippers.
At the liquor store, or
they
like
were
on
not
your
giving me anything in return. I'm very confused.
All right, well, we're still pretty love heavy in this episode, Science Jim. So you might want to just take the
Math Jim.
Oh, you poor thing, you poor thing.
I mean, she did leave him for Nyarlathotep. So, what do you expect?
It's an eldritch being. Listen, why don't you go talk to Dolly Parton? She knows all.
Nyarlathotep. Please don't take
Math Jade.
That is so hard to sing.
That's
singing
impossible.
a Lovecraftian name in Jolie.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, go talk to Dolly Parton. She knows a little bit about eldritch beings taking their love interests.
Hey, Science Jim, how's it going? It's me, Dolly Parton.
Derek, you said it was a foolish attempt to try to get Dolly Parton on the podcast, but here she is.
Hi, boys. It's me, Dolly Parton. I'm going to sit down right...
What are we watching today? Well, Sorry, I know my boobs are gigantic, but I think I can squeeze them in. God. I've had 18 plastic surgeries on just my boobs.
You look fantastic. We're happy to have you here.
47, but I look 89. Other way around.
That's how we should be in the world. We should aspire. I'm 47, but I've had plastic surgery to make me look 89.
I look 89. I mean, sometimes I feel like I need it. I'm almost 30, but I sometimes feel like I'm too young. Explain that to me. Explain that to me.
Explain that, atheists.
Explain that, God lovers. Wait. Atheist is the opposite.
Either way. If you're a God lover, you're an atheist, please explain it to me. I can't understand it. I've been sitting there screaming at the sky for 10 days.
We were trying to figure out if we wanted to record today or tomorrow. And let me tell you, I don't know if you feel the tension in the room, but I feel the tension in the room. It's fantastic.
There's something. It's just the comedic tension in the room.
That's the word. Wait, not tension. What's the word?
No, hold on. It's God. I'm so. This is the podcast. We're talking about Cupid today.
No,
I'm so tense.
Not the tension.
What's the word? That hurt.
The comedy. You feel the comedy.
You feel the comedy in the air.
This is
Can
perfect.
you feel the comedy tonight?
Hey, that was pretty good.
That's not bad.
I think sometimes likes to be Celine Dion, and Dolly Parton is
a little bit.
Oh my God, what's she doing?
She's
hey
running.
boys, it's me. I'm writing out a check here.
Oh wow!
Here you go, Isaac. It's for one good job.
Thank you. I'm glad you didn't call me Louis. Thank you for calling me my real name because I can actually cash this now.
Oh shit! Is your name Louis?
No.
Give
please.
me that check back, please.
No, wait. No, I promise my name's not Louis. Derek, tell her my name's not Louis.
I'm sorry, dude. His name is Louis.
Oh no, she's running out into the street. Oh no, there's a big semi truck coming her way. Oh no, she's okay because she has airbags in the front of her chest.
Oh, good. Well, actually, the nice thing about Dolly Parton, if you hit her from the back or you hit her from the front, either way, she's got airbags. But if you hit her from the side, she's gone.
We mean no disrespect to Dolly Parton. Much love and respect to you, Dolly. We love you.
She is a stunning woman.
You've done wonders for the world. Please.
She actually has. She is an incredible woman.
Like really sincerely an incredible person.
She is just a great woman.
She's one of those people where like no matter her fame, I feel like if you were to run into her somewhere, she would treat you like an old friend.
Do you know what I wish for Dolly Parton?
Nothing but love, laughter, and light this Valentine's Day.
She has been with the same man since 1966.
66. Carl Thomas Dean, a
must have
round of applause for you.
Rockin' hard dick.
You are quite a man.
He's a little twink.
Hey,
he's just like a picture of him wearing a shirt. He's just a nice fan of her.
He just looks like a nice man.
Aww.
He's wearing a shirt with her name and picture on it.
I was going to riff about this. Oh.
Well, now hold on.
I'm not going to riff on it. No, don't ignore what you saw.
There might be some further information on the marriage that we just found out.
I'm actually just going to move on.
You can lurk that yourself.
There's a reason they're still together.
Anyway, bless you, Dolly Parton, and the wonders you've given the world.
Yes, thank you, Dolly Parton.
And now, Cupid 2020.
Oh my God, you're right.
There's a movie.
We started.
There's a movie somewhere in this episode, I promise. If you look real close, you scrape away a bit of the bark there. Look underneath the foliage there, deep in the ground. There it is. It's Cupid from 2020.
Oh God. He's so sad.
Oh, no.
All right, so the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie, we already talked about it a little bit. There isn't a critic score.
Nope.
We're going to say it's 0. The audience score is 14%.
Yep.
Letterboxd is at 2.6, which is way too high.
Oh yeah,
way too high.
Honestly, because is that a scale from 1 to 10? No, that's 5.
5, dude.
We're talking half of the ranking there. That's I don't know about that, guys.
Well, because I kind of try to compare them in my brain.
Yeah.
A 14 on Rotten Tomatoes is usually equivalent to like a 1.8, 1.6 on Letterboxd.
It's like trying to find out like women's pant sizes. I used to work at a pants clothing store. And they would come in and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm a size 3." I'm like, "Hold on, is that a 32 by 19? Like, what do these translate to?" It's so hard to do the math for these things.
It isn't. It's like trying to buy enough toilet paper rolls.
Anyway, I'm sorry to any and all women who have to find pant sizes because they are not
85.
universal, and it sucks. And I'm sorry for you.
Anyway, the IMDb is 3.5.
So what does that rate? What does that equivalent to?
I would say that's about like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Like it all kind of like works together. I've looked at a lot of these ratings at this point.
You know, as I found out, I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is always the lowest out of all of the ones you mentioned. Because you said you're talking about IMDb and Letterboxd and all these other ones, right? All of them are a little bit higher than everything that Rotten Tomatoes is. Rotten Tomatoes is tough to please. The tomato up in Tomato Tower, kind of hard to please.
I'm so sick.
Oh, God.
Somebody give me some juice.
Okay, here's some tomato juice.
I'd only drink Clamato. I only drink Clamato.
Okay,
give me Clamato.
Okay, here's your. Well, okay, it's let me go get some Clamato. I'll be back. Just don't die. Don't die while I'm out.
2
okay.
cc's of Pulp Fiction stat. That was the first movie that came to my head. I don't know why.
No, I think part of the reason though, instead of riffing, like we could talk for real.
Yeah, we could be real boys.
Is Rotten Tomatoes is kind of like one of the more strict ones, and I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, come at me.
Yeah.
But like, oh, sorry,
Please,
High
fight
Horse,
us.
please. Okay, here you go. Big.
Bing.
Sorry, I had to breathe. So I think
Take
one of
deep
the
inhale before you get on your high horse. You're like,
well, listen, there are so many High Horse boxes in here. He's not cleaning up after himself. He's supposed to be eating
guys, the
these.
studio is covered in boxes. We're basically
we are actually dying.
Yeah, we are suffocated,
I'm
surrounded by boxes. We haven't
You
been
gave
able
me
to
the
leave.
week off.
Haven't
I
been
haven't
able
had
to
time.
leave for the entire week. We've been sitting here since our last episode.
We watched the
surrounded
movie
by
on our
boxes.
phones.
It was agony. It's terrible. Please send some kind of demolitions experts to come in here.
I smell Rufus the Definitely.
It's me, the evil high horse.
Oh.
All I do is destroy
Is your
the
name Rufus
boxes.
to combine our two bits?
That's me. I am Rufus. Rufus, the demolitions expert.
What are you doing here?
I'm
Wait,
here
get out of here.
I'm here to destroy all of your boxes.
No, they're my boxes.
But look at
You
this.
can't have them.
Look what's in my hand. It's
Oh,
the
no.
detonator.
No.
Ready?
Help me.
Children at home, help me count down. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, once you get like the boxes out of here,
Wow,
the
it's
space
really
really
nice.
opens up. It's kind
Oh
of nice.
God, is High Horse dead?
No, he's flying. Look at him. It's High Horse blasting off again.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a cool effect.
I'm sure
when
he'll
he
be
gallops back here, he'll be cool. All right, so
Anyway, while he's gone, there's still some boxes we can get
Oh,
up on
sweet,
if you
I
want to
can-
be a high horse.
oh my gosh, it's straining my back a little bit.
Yeah,
so
there's splinters on it too.
oh, that's what that was. I don't have feeling in my feet. So the reason I think that the Rotten Tomatoes is like usually more accurate is just because it's based on if it was a positive or a negative review, right?
Right.
Like is it fresh or is it rotten? And that is it. There isn't a scale or anything. So like you have 14% of people who said this movie sucked.
Right.
I mean 14% of people that said this movie was good.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's why I like Rotten Tomatoes a little bit more. Not that it actually matters. It's just kind of like it is one or the other.
Yes,
you either loved it
exactly.
or you hated it.
Which
And-
is exactly why we use it for our podcast and why we got where we are with it, right?
But the flip side of that, I think it can be a little bit problematic, right? Because there are a lot of movies that are like, well, it was like a decent movie, but I didn't love it, you know.
It is kind of tough, right? There are some times where I'm like, well, I don't want to rate it that low. It wasn't like awful, but it wasn't great either. Like,
you get it.
I
You
don't
get
know
me.
where I'm sitting with it, you know.
You get me. You get me.
Yeah,
You get
but
me.
we watched this movie. Do you have anything else to tell us about this?
I
this,
do.
This
I
movie
just
and
closed
the,
everything out. So keep
everything's
riffing.
closed, exactly. Oh, look up in the sky, guys. If you breathe deep and look up into the sky late at night, you can see the constellation of High Horse Palomino up there twinkling in the night sky. And you may be wondering, you know, is this a star that I'm looking at that's dead and has been dead for many years and this light is yet to go out? You know, I don't know, but tonight it's just me out here in the night air, out on my horse. I'm looking into the sky, and it's beautiful. It's High Horse Palomino is winking at me. There's a fiery bright light in his eyes. It's getting a lot brighter. Hold on, is he coming down? He's okay. Okay, no, he's coming back, guys. He's coming back down from the sky. Okay, everyone, brace for impact. Oh God, here he comes.
High Horses back in the studio. All right. So that was really cringy, but I liked it.
Wow, okay, so High Horse Palomino is back from his space exploration. We'll hear
Is he
more
good?
about that in a moment.
Oh, he's a naked horse now.
Oh,
hey,
wow.
look up naked horses.
No, don't do it.
Is
Horses-
horse a sex term?
I don't think so.
I'm looking up
Not
naked
that I
horse.
know of. But I know horses in apple bottom jeans is a sex term.
Apple bottom
sure,
jeans,
for sure.
boots with the fur.
I can't believe you really just looked up naked horse.
Yeah,
for
don't worry. I
real.
turned on safe search blurring.
There are some blurred. What's under there? I don't, Derek.
Oh, it's just like
Derek.
a woman with a horse.
Oh, okay. So it's just people naked next to horses.
Right, because men are in love with horses.
That's
Like,
true.
man.
Man,
Like
you
male
know, like,
man.
hey, it's me. I'm a Man,
I like horses and I like women. And
truck.
put my woman on a horse, and put her on a truck, put her on a forklift, put that forklift on a tractor.
And then I got those truck nuts because I think they're so funny.
And you know, it'd be really hot. You give her a gun.
You know what's really funny is I feel like the most homophobic men are typically the type of men we're describing here, but then they're the ones who have truck nuts. I'm like, what? Isn't that...
Listen, everybody loves balls.
You're so homophobic, and you've literally
It's like the
dangled
biggest lie I've
balls
ever
from the
said.
back of the thing that you love. Like, tell me who loves men more. You know,
It's true.
It's all I'm saying. You know.
Can we move on?
Yes, absolutely.
So there is no
Down
budget
with
for this movie.
homophobia.
There is no gross for this movie. There is no Wikipedia page for this movie. There is no anything.
It
for this
sincerely
movie.
feels like they tried to pretend this movie doesn't exist.
Yes.
They really want to forget about it. And who is the they that we're talking about,
so
Derek?
this is a thing. This is a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. It is a thing.
So the production company around this, think of them as your Hallmark Channel of movies.
Yes.
Okay. It's called Uncorked Entertainment, and it was founded in July 2012 by Keith Leopard, a home entertainment industry veteran.
Okay.
What an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you sit at home, you're like, I love the home entertainment industry. I love
course.
direct-to-DVD movies.
I am a
I
veteran
love
of
movies
this.
that people forget so quickly. I'm going to become a veteran.
It's just insane. Like, that does
Do you
not
think he
scream
goes
to
out for
me-
Veterans Day?
Terrible.
joke.
It's just funny. Like, there are often like people who have been in an industry for long enough. They don't get much better. They're just there the whole time.
Yeah,
and yet
exactly.
You still like you consider them to be the best because they were there for a long time. Like duration of time does not equal skill level. You know, and I
Yeah.
feel like we can find that here with Uncorked Entertainment.
For sure. They focus on distributing like digital media, physical home entertainment, aggregation, theatrical and television, oh my goodness. What's that word? Foreign sales.
There's a lot going on here with Uncorked Entertainment. Also, Uncork 'D.
Yeah, Uncorked.
Uncorked.
And their like production logo is a bottle of wine going
Yeah.
boop, and then
Because you need a bottle of wine to enjoy their films.
which is, I mean, it would probably help.
It'll probably help.
It has secured relationships across all platforms to ensure your film reaches the widest audience. So, what you need to understand about Uncorked, I emailed them again. I've done this twice
We
now,
reached
and no one
out, just like with the mean one. Right?
I reached out for a statement, and no one ever responded to me. I'll let you
They're
know
afraid-
next episode if
They're
they
afraid
actually
of
do
us.
respond back.
They don't know what to say. They can't face us about their movie.
I also wonder how often their like contact us page is monitored.
Yeah, or used
If
at
ever.
all. Derek, you mentioned you reached out to them. What did you ask them about? In all honesty,
I basically was like, hey, my name's Derek. I run a podcast called That Was Horrible. We were watching the movie Cupid 2020, and we were had some questions. And then I had some questions. I was basically like, hey, what was your budget for this movie? How did you go about casting this movie? Is there any trivia that you would like to say? And then I also asked where they filmed it.
and nothing, just absolutely nothing. Because again, they just want to forget this movie ever existed.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm sure that whatever unpaid intern is sitting there at a computer getting all the
Yeah.
emails was like, oh, we don't want to answer those.
If they had picked another movie, if they had picked something more like, I don't know, just pulling names out of a hat, maybe Scream of the Wolf, and maybe that one they love more, or maybe Vampus Horror Tales, Tales from the Crypt. Maybe
Horror tales.
maybe
horror
I'll be
tales.
watching. Murder Anyone?
Murder anyone?
Perhaps maybe The Rise of the Beast, Prepare for Carnage would have been another one. Maybe they like
Oh,
that
that
one
one
a
was
little
good.
bit.
I liked that
Yeah, no.
movie.
What about Croc! Exclamation point. It's
Croc.
not safe to swim anywhere.
It's funny how many of these movies are like on my lists that I've like brought up to
Guys,
watch for this podcast.
This is so on their website they have a section that says films. There's so many different categories: action, comedy, family, fantasy, sci-fi, western, horror. There are a lot of sections, right?
Even
Different
more.
genres, right?
Yeah.
Even more than that. I didn't even name all of them.
Don't forget about Beaster Day.
Yes, exactly. The ones we are naming right now with these absurd titles are just in the horror section.
Yeah.
There are 5+
There are
pages of these ones.
17 tabs of horror movies.
I cannot believe it.
And how many are in each? 4, 8, scroll up. 4, 8, 12, 16. So
Oh.
there's 16, 16, 17, 16 pages.
Okay, so
hold on.
Do the
you carry the 3,
the 2, and it's
and
you
then
put
you
them,
add the 8,
and then
you use
Sunday,
a calculator
and then
like
you put
a
them on the
grown ass adult.
and then you put them on there, and then Hires Palomino. I need to count. Give me movies.
there's 272 movies.
See, this is why we hired him. He's so good at math.
272
Just in the horror category.
There's no way.
This is the hallmark of horror
wrong?
movies.
You did that math wrong.
No, I think you did it right, man. That sounds right.
Do you understand? God.
Wow.
Hey, Cupid.
Hey, Cupid's on
Cupid's
this page
there.
that I jumped to.
They made Cupid.
Dead by Dawn, A Perfect Host, Human Persons.
So basically what I need you to do is imagine in your mind the worst student film you've ever seen.
Really, though.
And then give it a budget of far too much money. Which I don't know how much.
We
I would
don't
love
know.
To know.
We'll never know, I guess, because they'll never get back to us. But it was a lot. A lot more than you would expect.
It was more than you would expect from a movie like
absolutely.
this.
I say we do a fun thing where, like, every year we get on this website, we put, like, a bunch of the names into, like, a random generator.
And we just pull one.
And we just pick one. That's actually because I guarantee there is not a single movie on this website that is too good to watch for this podcast.
I mean, I'll just pick one. Let's see. Human Persons. Click on that one.
Human Persons. Let's see.
Human Persons.
Oh, man. Let's
2020.
Let's just read about this one real quick. James returns to his native Latin America after 30 years with just one thing in mind, taking an organ from a human victim and smuggling it back to the United States. On this trip, he relives memories of his own violent past, which makes him think twice about redeeming his future. That doesn't even sound like a horror movie.
Well, the funniest thing about this, I found it on Rotten Tomatoes, but there are no reviews for either side.
Absolutely no.
0 reviews.
No tomato meter, no audience score. Nobody wants to touch this movie.
Which means that's content, baby.
Absolutely.
That's content, baby. I think we should do this like every other month.
This sounds really fun, actually.
I think like it is just something different, you know? Like who else is doing Uncorked? Maybe we do an Uncorked month.
Oh my God.
Where we just uncork it. You know what I'm saying?
We could, but Derek, look at me. That means we would have to go a whole month subjecting ourselves to these movies.
I'm going to try to Google one more of them. The Dwelling.
Okay,
Can't
yeah.
read this one.
All right, so The Dwelling, we're saying 4 20-somethings find themselves stuck on a haunted antique bed where leaving means suffering a gruesome death. Plagued with frightening hallucinations, they must figure out the bed's secrets before they are ultimately picked off one by one. What the fuck? There are 4 20-something-year-olds who were just on a haunted bed and they can't leave it?
God. Were they having an orgy? What were they doing?
What are 4 people doing on the same
There's
bed?
only one thing you do on a bed. You're either waiting for your grandson Charlie to get back from the chocolate
and then
factory,
you get up and hop out of the bed because there was no problem at all.
Or you're having sexy time, fun time.
Or you're having sexy time, fun time. No, big coitus. We don't need you to come back in this one. Big sex. You stay away too.
Okay.
We don't need any more of this.
So I can't even
right.
find
I was
going to
go play
Dwelling
basketball
doesn't even
anyway.
exist. I think that's just a porno.
Maybe it is.
All right. So this movie, specifically Cupid,
we're back on Cupid.
We're back
now.
on Cupid.
We're back on our stuff.
Features as writer and director. Scott Chambers. And I have a feeling this isn't the last time we're going to be hearing from Scott Chambers.
No, specifically
and probably
on this
isn't
podcast.
the first either. Because Scott Chambers, let me tell you, this guy, he is the epitome of can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, will not stop.
My boy
can't
has
be stopped, no matter how much we try.
He has produced 90 different things. He's written 35 things. He has acted in 36 things. He's acting in the Blood and Honey 2. He is playing Christopher Robin.
Remember how they're making a sequel to Blood and Honey, and we're definitely going to watch it, good or bad. We're going to check it out.
What,
we
are doing
contractually are obligated to watch Blood and Honey for this podcast,
and it has to be for our 100th episode because we did it for our 10th episode.
That's true.
Oh yeah, no, yours was better.
What were you going to say?
It was just like our 10th episode, so it has to be our 100th episode.
Okay.
Which makes
I get
sense.
you. But anyway, so actor in Blood and Honey 2, playing Christopher Robin, has written and directed this movie. And
not Blood and Honey, written and directed.
Yeah, written and directed Cupid.
And when I look at him, he looks like if that kid from Ender's Game and Pennywise had a baby, and then just like
Pennywise the clown or Bill Skarsgård?
No, Pennywise the clown.
Okay.
Not Bill
checking.
Skarsgård, because Bill Skarsgård's like hot and stuff.
Yeah, hot and French too.
But like,
did somebody say French? No, we didn't. Go leave.
Whoa, I have not watched the Blood and Honey 2 trailer yet, and it looks like Winnie the Pooh has a tail now.
It's something. No, that was Tigger that you saw there. Yeah,
it's
guys.
Me, Tigger.
Blood and Honey 2 looks whack. They've got Owl in this one. Piglet's
that was
still.
that was like
Piglet's
a decent
back. Tinner. It's Tigger's dinner.
He also did movies like H.P. Lovecraft's Monster Portal. Definitely want to watch that movie.
Oh, my.
Curse of Humpty Dumpty 2, which implies there was a first one.
Oh, no.
Monsters of War. Now, keep in mind, the highest rating on any of these movies is 4 on IMDb.
Wow. So he really just does like the unhinged horror movies, right?
And I gotta say, man, there's something I kind of love about it. Like, if you know what you're getting into, it's a vibe.
We love like sticking to a bit, right? Just like live in there for this. Wow, he has just pulled up the poster for H.P. Lovecraft's Monster Portal. This looks insane.
I have to watch this now. I think I have to watch.
We have to stop the podcast right now to watch this one.
Click. And we're back. We did not watch that movie. We actually just pretended to get off the podcast.
Pretended to watch it. It would have been kind of fun. We got you though, didn't we?
Yeah, we got you. You thought we
left
left for a second. That would have been really funny.
So how are we sitting on Rotten Tomatoes here for this one, huh?
0-0.
Yep, another one where neither of them came out in 2022.
It's like a different world. It's a different world out there. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about Cupid. You're here to hear about Cupid.
Little like baby cherub with his rosy cheeks and his golden flowing locks of hair, right? Right?
Well.
Right?
Let's talk about our expectations. Actually, let's talk about the reviews for this movie.
Let's get into the reviews for this movie, yeah. As
there are
everyone's
only
preparing
3.
to see this one. It's something here. There are 3 of them total, all of them rotten, right?
Yep.
So I'll get us started here with Chris Salsa from Film Threat. I understand that it is a way to leave it open for a possible sequel, but it really did not solve any conflict. Now there are just questions and time felt wasted.
Oof.
And who knows what he's talking about? You'll find out by the end of this episode.
And then Josh Bell of Drake and Josh says, "There's nothing."
What the hell?
I was going to try to just let that one fly because I thought that was funny. Now, Josh Bell of Crooked Marquee says, "There's nothing scary or suspenseful about this movie, and even potential moments of horror are undermined by unconvincing performances."
Rough. And then there's one final one from Caitlin Kennedy, and we will read this together now.
Because this is great content.
Its faults are rarely forgivable, and its strengths do not make up for those stumbles.
We should have had better inflections together. We should have rehearsed that.
Yeah, we should have rehearsed it, huh?
Listen, hey, let's sidebar.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I really feel like we could have done better on that.
We could have done better on that. I feel like we're letting down our audience a little bit.
Everyone at home was like, "This was horrible. I hope they continue with the episode instead of riffing."
Yeah, and maybe we can right now. So now let's talk about our expectations.
That was fun. I like our little sidebars.
So what's general expectation for me? I said, I know there's no bad movies, but I said we're in for a bad time.
Yeah, I just said it was going to be boring.
Yep,
so I was right
really
there.
My first formal expectation says just uninteresting kills. I really just did not think, especially on a budget horror film, like you really cannot give me kills that are very captivating or cool or fun. So that's kind of what I was expecting.
I hear that. Mine was Birdemic. Period.
Birdemic.
Just Birdemic.
I said definitely a cast of characters you will love to see die. Because just from the trailer, we saw that there was some girl getting bullied by some like obnoxious teens in high school, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to enjoy watching them get picked off by this crazy looking Cupid guy.
For me, some really annoying teenage romances.
Oh, God.
Because there's like a bunch of teenagers, right? I was like, okay, there's definitely going to be like those forced romance moments.
Absolutely, yeah. I said vibe of a school project shot on an iPhone. Like that's the kind of production value I was expecting from this.
For sure. Botched mythology. Like it's about a guy from
I botched that. That's a botched mythology.
It's a guy from mythology, right? So I assumed that they wouldn't get it right.
No, exactly. Or they would take their own twist on things, right? I said awful effects. Just like, again, going with the budget whole thing. I'm like, I can't imagine that it's going to look very good. And all we were able to see through the trailer was how Cupid looks.
Yeah,
and it's really just some skinny guy who has some prosthetics on his face. You can see a bit of like the teeth coming up out of the skin. He's got these sunken in eyes. But other than that, it just didn't look that fantastic. It's just a guy.
I actually know his name.
And they painted him kind of gray.
Bao Tu. I'm probably saying that
Bao Tu?
way wrong.
Probably. I apologize.
He's just kind of he's a stunt actor. That's like what he does. Like he's actually been in a lot of things like Jurassic World, and Artemis Fowl.
Hold on. Just in Jurassic World, no problem.
Yeah. And then he...
What's there, Derek?
Yeah, he was also going to be in Winnie. He was in Winnie.
He was in Blood and Honey. Yeah, if you find Reporter 3, that's our Cupid.
It kind of actually seems like he's just a stunt actor for Uncorked Entertainment and that style of movies.
Completely
and he just got really lucky with the Jurassic World.
I can't. He got his big break getting in Jurassic World, getting up there with Chris Pratt, which means he's one step closer to being in the Garfield movie.
Oh my God, he's almost there. You can be our next Garfield, Cupid. You can be my Garfield, Cupid.
I don't know if I want him, honestly.
You can shoot away my pain. Oh, Lord.
Oh my God.
I will stand
What was your next expectation?
Lasagna. You can take my noodles away.
Oh my God.
Because you only got 100 years.
The train has officially gotten away from me. Now he's going far away.
I think I sang 2 different songs. Okay.
Probably.
Over exposition because no bad movies.
No bad movies.
Poorly made movies.
Yes.
Always give so much exposition. Every dialogue, every word is always too much exposition.
Yes, absolutely. And then my final expectation said this hour and 20-minute movie will feel too long.
Oh, very good. And then finally, the creepy romance of all, and romance I put in quotations here because it's not romance. I mean, like those men that like hit on women in the worst way possible.
Absolutely.
And I just expected too much of that.
Sincerely, I mean, it's a movie about love, right? So how could we be wrong about that?
Should we open up the pages of this book?
Let's turn to the next page. What's here? It's Cupid 2020. Let's get into it. God. So we open a blank book that starts to fill with this kind of rough CGI over it to fill their pages. It was like a fun idea.
It was a fun idea that went on too long.
Looks a little cheesy, right?
It didn't really look very good.
No, exactly. So we're being told the origin story of Cupid and his birth, so far up to the regular mythology as we know it, right? Like the Roman version of Cupid's mythology here.
Yeah.
Cupid was in love with Psyche, who was apparently the most beautiful woman in all the land, and then his mother, Venus, didn't like that. She didn't like that whatsoever. She's like, I'm the most pretty. You can't love her. So she forbid their love. Then Psyche comes to her, begging to let them be together. So Psyche from Venus was given 3 impossible tasks, which she's like, there's no way she could ever complete these, right? She did. No. She successfully finished them. But before making it home, she like nearly perished. So Cupid comes to her aid, tries to prick her with one of his own arrows, but Venus tipped his arrows in poison. So it was all a clever ruse, a clever plot to get Psyche out of here, right? And also, it's worth mentioning over this entire story, the music in the background is so overpowering.
What the hell? Loud. It was so loud. But so here's where the narration takes a turn. So that's actually where the normal story ends.
Exactly. So it's and they mentioned that too. They're like, that's how you thought the story ended, but this is how the real story goes.
I got it right here. Hey guys, it's me, Scrippy Scripto.
Scrippy,
I got you the script. I couldn't find a funny version of the script because the normal script just sucked. So here you go.
All right, I mean, it's funny enough. Lay it on me.
I change his voice every time.
I think that was actually like the normal Scrippy Scripto voice.
Really?
You've come back now.
Oh, thank God. And they were to live happily ever after. However, the true story behind the legend is not so happily ever after. It's much darker.
Sorry, that's just how the music was.
No, that's good, actually. You want to give it to me louder? Venus had tampered with his arrow, lacing it with poison, killing Psyche. Full of anger, Cupid went to the dark depths of the underworld and came face to face with the god of death himself. Angered by Cupid, demanding assistance for revenge, the god of death had another idea. He warped Cupid's mind, filling him with the darkest anger that can never be shaken off. For eternity, feeling hatred towards love and those who abused him, it filled. God, there's something about the way this is written that
it's rough.
So
it's really rough.
Over centuries and under the right circumstances, the Roman god Cupid himself can be summoned to defend and protect what he represents, bringing fury to bear on those who abuse love. And the next line is just
Yeah, so that's our opening introduction, right? So now we're into the actual movie whole cloth, and it's giving Hallmark movie production for
so
sure.
much. It's like really it's one step down from Hallmark.
The acting is abysmal. It is terrible. It is so bad. We see these 2 people who are on a really shitty date, and they suck so bad. The guy here is trying to brag about how he's a bachelor, blah, blah, blah. And the girl's like, wow, that's fun, and excuses herself to the bathroom. And then we see the dude's got like 12 missed calls on his phone. So girl excuses herself to the bathroom. She's talking to her friend about like, oh, this guy sucks. I'm going to leave through the bathroom window. Like, I can't. His money isn't worth it, blah, blah, blah. So then back at the table, the girl, he had missed 12 calls from his daughter, I assume.
I mean, that's what they said, but she looked his age.
Yeah, or
they
older,
were the same
honestly.
Age. Yeah.
And she looks like real messed up. I don't know what she's been through, but like she keeps saying, she's like, I messed up. They're all gone. They're killed. It's my fault. And it's like, I don't really understand what's going on here. She's kind of panicking for some reason. But then since she says, because this guy, whether it be her dad, stepdad, whatever he was, since he left her mom, she did something she shouldn't. She summoned the demon Cupid.
Oh, no.
And so he's taking her out and he's like, come here, daughter of mine. We're going to bring you out to the front of the restaurant.
You're ruining my date.
Yeah. So as they're leaving, he runs into the date that's trying to run away. She's like, oh, hey, yeah, well, I just, and then she dies. Before she can leave, she gets shot in the eye by an arrow. And so look up into the sky. I love how every time they show this effect of Cupid flying in the air, he's always surrounded by like storm clouds to make it look a little less
to
cheesy.
try and not show his rigging that was like in the studio.
Yeah, because the CGI of his like wings flapping effect was not that
dreadful.
Great. It was pretty bad. So Cupid starts chasing them with his bow and arrow, and he starts. So they were in town.
Yeah.
They were at a restaurant in a parking lot. He probably drove there, right?
Absolutely.
Next shot, as they're being chased, pursued by Cupid.
They're in the middle of a field.
They're in the middle of a field. Just a random field in the middle of the forest.
Obviously the middle of a city.
Yeah.
And there's not fields in the middle of cities. Not this big. Surrounded by trees.
Especially since if you were trying to leave a like life-threatening situation, you would get in the car and drive away fast.
He's shooting arrows at you, dude. Drive away.
Insane.
Don't run into a field.
It's so bad. But yeah, so Cupid ends up landing close to them in the woods, shoots the dad in the leg, and then he apprehends the daughter. He takes her head as she's fallen right in front of the dad and goes to stab her like her head onto the arrow that is in her dad's leg.
Yeah, but it takes so long.
It would have been a fun, interesting kill had it not taken 10 years for them to actually do this.
It was really effective at first because you're like, oh god, you know that flinch away. She's
exactly,
gonna get her
especially
head
if it was going to like go through her eyeball. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's tough. I don't want to see that, right?
But it showed the same clip of her almost getting it shoved in like 20 times, and at that point we were desensitized to it.
Just several different shots of him
ruined it.
almost like just slowly pushing her head towards.
And
She's
then
like,
the dad screaming.
Oh no!
Something else I wanted to mention, when they were running into the forest, the dad had a bunch of like foliage in his hair that was so obviously from like a previous take, and they just didn't bother.
Yeah,
they were like, don't worry about it.
Derek definitely called that when he was like, oh, he's about to fall on the ground, and guess what? He gets shot in the leg and falls
like,
down.
It was even as obvious as he had a little yellow flower in his hair.
Yes.
And then where he landed on the ground was right next to a patch of yellow flowers.
It was pretty stupid, honestly. But then, so after all of this, like big to do, this whole workup to finally stab the daughter's head on the arrow, he does it, and it's like not even that big a deal because it took so long. All the tension was gone, right?
For sure.
But then Cupid shoves his hand into the chest of the dad and pulls out his beating heart.
Now, this was almost cool.
Almost cool. The
cool.
effects still left a bit to be desired.
And watching Cupid like squeeze the heart didn't really do anything.
And watch
for
the
me.
blood like squeeze out of it. It was wild.
It was kind of gross.
But yeah, so that's our like second introduction to the movie. So now we've seen Cupid and
now
all
it's
of
time
his.
for the third introduction to the movie.
Pretty much, yeah, because now we see someone else, some random person we don't see yet, trying to perform some ritual, some like obvious like love thing. She's trying to get someone to fall in love with her kind of thing, right? So we now start a countdown where it is 2 days until Valentine's Day. So we meet these two characters. We meet we meet two teachers, one male, one female here, and they are just awkwardly flirting with each other, and it feels very forced, very forward from the guy, and very awkward. Like I can't tell, like, is she into him? Is he just super forward? Like it may be uncomfortable.
Their acting really didn't lend anything to this. It was really like they gave him the script 10 minutes ago. They looked at it, read it, tried to memorize it, and then got one take.
And Derek, what would you describe as like his cadence whenever he came across like a comma in the sentence, right?
Well, I think I would probably describe it's something like this.
Every single comma, Derek said this, every single comma he treats like it's a period.
It really was
so
though.
many pauses in what he says.
His dialogue.
It was terrible. I hated it.
Do you remember the dialogue?
It is me, the dialogue. I guess he was kind of replaced by Scrippy Scripto reading out the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, sometimes the
younger,
hotter
wait a
model
minute.
comes in.
Look at the back of Scrippy Scripto's spine.
What's on there?
That's bark.
That's bark.
Oh my
Hold
god.
on. Scrippy?
Scrippy, are you
dialogue reincarnated?
Dialogue, come back to the dead.
This whole time. Oh, what? Are you dying? Did you die? Are you Hello?
Oh, fuck. We have to recycle. Throw them in the recycle bin.
All right.
Oh, God.
I just thought we could throw him in the wood chipper and it'd be better.
Well, he's not Wood anymore. Oh, God, Woody. Oh, it's making a buzz. Oh, God, Andy.
Yeah, and Slinky's there too, and Mr. Potato Head. This is nothing. So the teacher's awkwardly flirting. I hate it. He gets called away to help some student get gum out of her hair.
No, that was so stupid. Sorry.
It was a little ridiculous.
Sorry.
No, it was pretty dumb.
There were so many dumb lines in this movie. Like, they were having this terrible, awkward conversation. This other teacher
leans in for a kiss.
One of your students has gum stuck in her hair, and then they go into the. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm mad about it.
So then he's like, well, duty calls, I guess. You know, I'm a teacher helping students get gum out of their hair.
It's almost my favorite line in the whole movie.
It's so stupid. So he just helps himself into the ladies' restroom to have this like conversation with Faye, the main character in this movie, right? So he goes in there. It is Faye trying to get gum out of her hair. Derek's really excited about this next line. Faye is trying to get gum out of her hair. She's got her guy friend with her in the bathroom, right? He's smoking. He shouldn't be in there in the first place either, right? So Mr. Jones is the name of this teacher walking in there, right? Goes in there.
Mr. Jones.
So he goes in there and he's talking to the dude. He's like, hey, you shouldn't be smoking. Get out of here, right? And the dude's like, oh, well, you shouldn't be in here. It's the
you must be smelling things.
Yeah. So
wait, no, read this with me. Read the script.
Let's do this for real, how it is written in the script, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Start right here.
So the Mr. Jones tells the guy, Matt is his name. It's her friend. He tells Matt also smoking doesn't really make your voice deep. It doesn't make your voice deeper.
Yes.
And he goes, seriously, that was the reason I was doing it.
Also, girls' toilets,
ladies only.
Hey.
Every comma.
I'm one of the gals. See? What can I say? Give us a moment, Matt.
Like, what?
I'm one of the gals, see?
What the hell is that? I'm one of the gals, see?
And he played it off in like a cool teacher kind of way.
Yeah,
but it was so
cool teacher.
Incredibly awkward.
No way can you deliver the sign and not have it be creepy. Dude, you were just helping yourself to the women's restroom. No, you are not one of the gals. You were explicitly not. You were a teacher.
So
Get
gross.
Out of the girls' restroom.
There was nothing good about that.
Because, like, even before he sees if there's girls in there, he, like, walks in and knocks on the wall. Hey, anybody in here? It's
anybody in here?
Dude, knock before you come into the restroom. Or
You
just
always knock before you
call
come.
her out of the restroom. What are you doing? It's gross. So, like, I don't even know what they say in this conversation between Mr. Jones and Faye. He just talks to her.
Matter.
He doesn't even help her get gum out of her hair.
She didn't even have gum in her hair.
It was
it was a lie so they could smoke.
It was so weird.
I mean, they were pretending like she had gum in her hair, but she didn't literally.
It's pretty
have gum in her
stupid.
hair.
Anyway, outside of the restroom, there's like the queen bee of the school, just like the main jerk of the high
She's
school. I hate her so
awful.
much. Her name is Elise, and she, from the get-go, was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the teacher comes to her and says, hey, I hear you've been bullying Faye. I think it's actually established she's the one that put the gum in her hair. And so he's like, hey, quit bullying her, right? She's like, well, you know, I saw you in the women's restroom, and so I could tell the principal and get you fired, right? So, like, she's just awful from the start, and we already hate her. So then, to further the reason we hate her, Elise, the main girl, like the queen bee of the school, is in class with the teacher, Mr. Jones. She sees his phone just chilling on the desk, and then the next shot is her at the lunch table with her friend. She's like, look what I got. And it's like, what? Okay, sure. It didn't even show her like slyly taking the phone from his desk. Suddenly, we found out she did some kind of weird heist to get his phone, right? So we also find out that the spell that Faye was the one casting that spell a couple scenes ago. It was a spell to make Mr. Jones fall in love with her.
Yeah,
and it's like,
she likes him.
That's problematic for a couple of reasons.
There's a lot of things wrong with that.
A lot of things wrong with that, but we'll just move on. So he's definitely hitting on some other teacher, right? He's not in love with her, which is good. We're not going down that route.
No.
So Faye goes to home and she walks in on her mom having sex with some rando in the living room, right?
Yeah.
And the mom sits there continuing to like copulate with this man.
Listen,
for like 6 seconds.
Coitus was strong, right? She had to keep going. Woman could
stop,
not stop.
even if your daughter walks in the room, because she sits
wait,
there.
honey, I'm so close.
Because she sits there and stares at her for like 6 or 7 seconds before she's like, "Oh God!" and needs to get up off the guy. It's like, what the hell?
fuck?
It was gross. But yeah, every line of this scene is exposition, right? Do you want to tell about?
So yeah, we find out that her dad is dead, right?
Yes.
In like the craziest way. The mom goes up and is
She
having
knocks
this
on the door
conversation.
like, "Honey, it's mom." Like, yeah, who else would it be?
Yeah. But so then she's like, You really think Dad would think this? This is verbatim. I need everyone.
This
to
is
remember
from
that.
the script.
This is no breaks. You really think Dad would think this is okay? This the first Valentine's since his passing, and you just hook up with a dad of a girl from my school.
A dad of a girl from my school.
You realize she despises me for it, right? Today I had gum in my hair because of it.
I literally did not even hear that line. So it definitely
we were laughing so hard.
It establishes already that it's Elise's dad.
The funniest thing about this, that is literally 4 separate sentences of exposition. You could have left
all
that
in a
at
row.
just, you really think Dad would think that is okay? End it. Or, hey, it's just the first Valentine's Day since. You think that's okay? No. You hooked up with so-and-so's dad? Or, hey, you realize that I get bullied because of this, right? Or, hey, I got gum in my hair because you're fucking her dad, right? You could have used, high horse, get over here.
Could have been.
Here you go. You could have used any of those. Why did you use all 5?
It didn't have to be all of them, all in one quick go, but I still cannot get over a dad of the girl from my school.
Of a girl from my school.
Couldn't even say, like, the character has a name. Like, you really think it's that much of a mystery, especially when the next line are like, she put gum in my hair because of it, right? It's
obviously,
like, okay,
we know who it is.
We know who Elise is. You're not giving us any kind of grand mystery here.
That was terrible.
It's terrible. And it gets worse.
Oh, so much worse.
Things do not get much better from here on because now the school bullies, so Elise and her cronies or whatever, start texting Faye from Mr. Jones's phone. This is not good.
No,
this cannot be good, especially since we've established that Faye has a crush on Mr. Jones, and this is not good. And of course, she's so excited because her crush teacher is texting her, so she texts him back, and she's like, I'm going to stay late at school tomorrow. Why don't you come and visit me? So, like, she's inviting him to come see her as she's working late at school.
Other way around.
The other way, either way, it's awful.
It doesn't matter.
It's terrible. It's really, really bad. And so then the number starts texting her being like, I just, could you send me a picture? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So then she sends a picture. He's like, maybe a little bit more. I'm sorry. I just want to see. And so then she starts sending, like, she takes her shirt off and it's a picture of her, like, in a bra, and she sends it a while. Like, it's just,
keep in mind,
it's awful.
This woman is in her 20s, like early 30s, late 20s. Like, she is not a high schooler, and all of them were, which, like, made it better, but they're supposed to be high schoolers.
It's still
so it was
awful.
Horrible.
It's like, isn't this supposed to be a horror movie about Cupid? When is that coming back in? Because, God, this sucks so bad. So now, continuing the countdown, we're one day until Valentine's Day. Mr. Jones, he's flirting with that blonde teacher again, right? She says he ignored her text, but he lost his phone and he ordered a new one, right? So he's got an alibi right now. He's like, well, I don't have a phone, so if anything weird's going on, whatever. And they're acting like their little fling flirtationship they got is so private. And the funniest part is they're like, should we really be talking about this here? And the dude's like, why? No one's around. As an extra walks past him.
That was so good. I loved that so much.
Because they're having this conversation because at first the extra is like behind the girl, the teacher.
So they were obviously
woman.
not alone.
Yeah. And then he's like, why? Nobody's here. And then poof, someone brushes past him.
Immediately walks right past
like, wow,
him.
okay, really just ignoring the fact that there are other people here. It's
was
kind of like one of those where, like,
ridiculous.
they wrote it in the script a certain way, but then they blocked it a different way when it came to actually filming it. It was pretty terrible.
I have a theory.
You have a theory?
I've had a theory in like 20 episodes.
Wow, Derek has a theory.
I think that they just filmed this in a real school.
Yeah.
And the guy who walked past on the camera was just a normal teacher.
Just a
doing
real
his thing.
teacher trying to do his
He
goddamn
was just
job.
trying to do his goddamn job. And there's like these people trying to film this scene. They didn't change the dialogue at all. They're like, okay, well, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work. We'll fix it in
We'll
post.
fix it in post.
We'll Photoshop that guy out of there, I guess. And then they didn't.
forgot.
But yeah, so then they think it's so private, but then the principal comes in and is like, whatever, just keep your hands to yourselves. I know about you two. Haha, it's me, cool principal. Now get back to your job, right? So, okay,
And they
sure.
even try to fight it. They're like, no, what?
Yeah, really? Like,
shut up.
Us? No way. That's so crazy.
So stupid.
Only half of these high schoolers have an accent. It has been established that they are clearly somewhere in the UK. They drive on the right side of the car. They drive on the other side of the road, whatever we're used to here in America, right? It's like they've established this is not in America. They're in the UK. Only a few of them have accents, and sometimes they come and they go, right? And it's really, really obnoxious to me.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But we find out Miss Drake is the name of the blonde teacher that Mr. Jones has been flirting with. Now she approaches Elise and she confronts her about bullying Faye again. It's like, you guys should be taking bigger strides towards this instead of just approaching a student randomly in the hallways. Be like, I heard you were threatening this student. You should probably stop that, right? And so she threatens to cancel the dance if she doesn't behave. And so she's like, oh no, the school dance. But we've been setting up the Valentine's dance. What's going to happen? They don't stop their plan. And so they keep texting Faye, and she goes to meet Mr. Jones in his office. He's just grading papers. He doesn't know she's about to walk into the room with him.
This scene.
It's so awful. It's just despicable. It really made me cringe away from this.
It was horrible.
It's
Why
hard.
would you write this into your story?
Really,
it didn't need to be there.
No, absolutely not. So now she's actually talking to him in his office. Now I just wrote, I want to die. I can't. The secondhand embarrassment from this is really killing me.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And she
brutal.
she grabs him on the shoulder. She's like, I'm glad it wasn't just me, and you felt that way too. Why doesn't he immediately push her off?
He should have pushed her off as soon as he touched her.
If a student is touching you in that manner, do not let that. It's terrible. It's so terrible. And then in one quick move, she goes to give him a real quick kiss, and he was not expecting it.
She kisses him,
and he doesn't immediately push her away and be like, no, absolutely not. He
just pulls his head back.
He's like, whoa, what? You shouldn't.
You shouldn't kiss.
But the bullies got it on video because they're right outside the room and filming it
did.
through the little window in the door, right?
Yeah.
And so now they are planning to set up a little video to expose Mr. Jones, get him fired for kissing a student, all that jazz, right? It's just terrible.
It's pretty bad.
But then the next scene we see Mr. Jones and Miss Drake are on a date somewhere, just in some random. The set for this was terrible. It looked like the break room in some office building, but they were trying to make it fancy.
It looked like they literally just cleared the cafeteria and then set up different lighting and maybe change some backdrops. That's it.
But they make it seem like they
which is fine. But make it look better.
They made it seem like they were out of some fancy restaurant, and then behind one of them in the background shot, there's a conference table and one dude sitting at it.
Chilling.
It's terrible.
Then there's a couple ladies sitting at the table behind them, and they're just trying to have conversations.
Yeah, it's
but
awful.
Are very obviously listening to their conversation.
But yeah, so quickly, Mr. Jones does tell Miss Drake about what happened, and they're like, it's such awkward conversation. She's like, oh, Duncan, all the girls have a crush on you. You're the hot item of the school. He's like, what? Me? No, wait, come on, it's not me.
Wow,
but
way too fast, man.
Sorry, what? It's not me. You're crazy. That's silly. It's terrible. And so, but he's not going to tell the principal though, just because he's like, I don't want to embarrass Faye any more than she's already been embarrassed. He's like, she reminds me a lot of myself when I was young, which is another weird line to say about a kid that just kissed you, the teacher.
Weird thing to say.
Lots of weird vibes. Everything is bad, right? So then Faye finds she has a black magic book, I guess.
Well, I think it's the same book she was using earlier,
right? When she was trying to cast the love spell in the first place, right?
So she turns it to a different page.
Doesn't explain why she has this book, where she got it, whatever, right? So, okay. So she looks in and she looks into summoning the destroyer of love. She's going to call on Cupid is what it would appear to be, right?
I mean, it seems like she was actually trying to summon death.
Yes. Something like that, right? Whatever it is the destroyer of love.
Yeah.
It's rough. So now Valentine's Day is upon us. It is Valentine's Day, and Faye receives a Valentine without a signature, which we assume is from the bully. She takes it, she rips it up, right? Because she's like, Mr. Jones isn't into me. How terrible. And then during class, as they're handing out these Valentines, one of the bullies gets... I don't even know how she does this. She almost puts a flash drive into the computer.
And maybe
no idea how it happens. Somehow she makes it so the video of Faye kissing Mr. Jones is up on the monitor, up in front of the whole class, right? So the videos have started playing this video, Faye kissing him. This is really bad. And I literally wrote, I need Cupid to show up right now, please, God,
because we're
get me out of this
40
situation.
Minutes into the movie at this point,
so far into the movie,
and then this is the scene. We're coining a new term here: the Pumpkinhead paradox, right?
Yes,
it's a term just for us because it only applies to.
Because remember, there was that one scene where they walk into a room in Pumpkinhead 2. Is that what we watched? Pumpkinhead 2, where there's a bunch of bloody symbols written on the walls. Where Pumpkinhead had to come in here and finger paint all of this, right? So it's a similar situation where Faye is embarrassed, runs out into the hallway, and there's just all of those risque pictures she was sending to Mr. Jones are up all over the walls. They just printed them all, right? And it's
they've been in class for 5 minutes, so there's literally no way that she could have accomplished
this. They did not have the time to print these out, tape them up all over the walls, and then get back into class. There's absolutely no way this could have happened, right? But anyway, rightfully so, Faye starts fighting Elise because goddamn, that girl needed to be punched in the face, I think, in all honesty. She was just the worst character.
Maybe she needs to be shot with an arrow.
A little bit, right? So yeah, they get into a scrap, and then apparently the only two teachers in the school, Mr. Jones and Miss Drake, are the ones who are like, hey, stop fighting. Enough of this, blah, blah, blah. Break it up. And it's they really couldn't afford to cast a different teacher to break
grab
up
one of the
thing.
real teachers that's hanging out in the school.
It's terrible. So anyway, Faye runs away. She's embarrassed. She just finds an empty classroom somewhere and pulls out a bunch of candles and her black magic book that she just had in her backpack this whole time.
Yeah.
Pulls them out of her bag and then starts to summon, this destroyer of death as she appears, right? So it took us like 30 minutes from the first time we saw Cupid to where we are now for us to finally get Cupid back in the story. So then something kind of cool happens. Death appears.
This was like easily the best scene in the movie, but it ruined itself by dragging on too long.
Yeah, so Death appears next to her. His voice is like the only cool thing I've seen in this movie. He's got this very like, oh, it's me. Who dares to summon me? Kind of thing, right? So she basically is like, I want the end of love for everyone in this school. And she words it really weird too. I can't remember how she does, but like it sounds so stupid.
Yes, but remember, I talk like this.
Just like that?
Shows you
Which would imply
who I am.
Death is not credited in the IMDb on anywhere in this movie.
No.
We're kind of convinced that like
It is 100% Mr. Jones
was the voice of Death in this one.
Because he talks the exact same, just
Yes.
with some voice modulation.
Absolutely. And the voice modulation, I did appreciate. It did actually seem
It did
pretty
look cool.
right?
Yeah, it was fine.
But so she calls for the end of love for everyone, specifically everyone in this school. She says that a couple times. And Death is Death is very thorough. He asks many times if she understands the price.
Hey, you get it?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
You sure
You
about
sure
that?
to do that?
Do you understand the
sure?
price of what you're asking for?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
It was
It
like
is the death of love for everyone in the. Are you sure?
Are you sure? It's like those like when you're trying to like delete your whole hard drive or something, and it's like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Once again, hey, are you sure? Are you positive?
It's like we really need to
We
make
need
sure.
to make sure you understand.
You need to understand we cannot be held responsible if things go bad, right?
Yeah.
So he asked her several times in this one conversation if she's sure. She's like, yes, of course. Everyone in the school, I want no more love for any of them, right? Blah, blah. So he basically tells her for 24 hours he's going to summon the demon Cupid. Just let him loose and do as she has requested, right? She's like, he's going to end love for all of them, which basically means just kill them, right? Because he even asked us, like, you understand what asking for the end of love for anyone means, right? She's like, of course I understand. It's like, it's death. He's going to kill.
Death.
He's going to kill
him.
It's literally Death telling you he's going to kill people, but whatever, right? So now, after we see that, now we're in the principal's office with Elise and Mr. Jones, and they're pretty quick to know that Elise is in the wrong here. I suppose I am happy that there's a swift justice there. They're like, we're not, Mr. Jones didn't go kissing students, it was the student bullied her, gave her the wrong idea, she kissed you, whatever, but she's just the worst. She's just
terrible.
despise her because she's so like jaded to the whole situation. She's like, whatever, you can't talk to me that way. You know who my dad is? He's a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could not despise her more. I really hated her.
She was awful.
So really, like the worst that happens to her is that she has to take down the decorations and her parents will be informed of the situation.
Oh, shucks.
He's like, I ought to expel you for this situation.
Then
Why don't
do
you?
it.
Commit to
Get
the
her
bit,
out of
man.
there, dude.
Good God. This is really, really bad stuff. So now we follow one of the bullies from her little group of bullies into the bathroom, which for some reason just has green, blue, and pink lighting inside of it.
Yeah.
And now,
well, let's talk about that for a second, because that's another Pumpkinhead paradox. I'm positive that Cupid flew through this entire school and changed every light bulb to a smart bulb so he can make the whole thing green and purple
because
and blue.
as soon as Cupid shows up in the story, all of the lighting in the entire school, which was normal a couple minutes ago, is now all pinks and greens and blues. Like, it's really, the lighting could have been cool, but there was really no reason that it happened. I was telling
It
Derek,
was
like,
not super effective.
I kind of would have appreciated it more if it was like she summons Cupid, then all the lights change to the pink and purple.
Yeah.
But it's just like in the next scene, for some reason, the bathroom is just like that now. Like it's always been that way.
There's no reason. No one even notices it.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if it was like, if Cupid was like attacking, the lights changed.
Yeah.
Because then it would be a thematic thing, right? It would
Exactly.
look cool. But this was just, no, it's now we have one light or one type of light.
It's it's rough.
It was bad.
But anyway, so this one bully's in the bathroom, right? She hears this like scraping sound, which is super ominous. She's hidden away in a stall right now. And then Cupid appears in front of her stall. She can only see his little sandals underneath the stall, right? And then you hear like scratches coming over into the stall next to her. So she puts her ear up next to it. And then he shoots an arrow through the stall wall, impaling her through the ear.
Yeah.
And so she starts to run away. She's like, oh no, I'm being killed, trips.
Which,
and then
how did that not kill her?
Right,
I'm still confused about this, because
that
she
really
didn't
should
have
have
any
killed
blood
her.
on her face at all.
No.
She was just fine.
It's pretty rough. But so she's running and is caught by Cupid, who like has her on the ground. Just she's like face down on the ground, right? He just tears open her shirt on the back, takes a heart-shaped cookie cutter, and just starts cutting into her back in little heart-shaped bloody messes. And I was like,
God.
I have to appreciate a themed kill.
Absolutely. You got to appreciate it.
It was not fantastic, but like he's going the Valentine's theme here. And so like, okay, I can appreciate that. And the kill was so-so.
Can I rant about something real quick?
Please rant about something.
I'm here. Here's your box for your high horse. Pink, 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 pink.
Thank you, sir. Pat, pat. Every arrow in this movie had two states of being.
There is the prop arrow and then like the stunt arrow.
They would shoot an arrow from Cupid's bow, and it would be a full-ass arrow.
Just a normal arrow like you would assume, right?
As soon as it was in someone, it was a broken in half arrow covered in blood with the same effect on the bottom.
Every single time. Without fail.
It actually, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I've had time to cool down about it.
Yeah, how are you feeling now?
It's fine, but it really...
breathe.
Reroll. It really bothered me.
High horse turned into a donkey. So stressed.
No, but like, come on, guys. Like, every single arrow prop was the same prop. You had this much blood in the movie.
Because it never showed any of them breaking off the arrow, right?
That's basic. That's my rant.
It was just half an arrow in a person every single time.
Every single time.
So
and it even looked like the same, like, blood, like, congealed blood effect on the bottom of the arrow.
It's like they had one
like that
makeup effects prop.
That prop sticky arrow that you, like, stick into yourself, like, I got shot.
Yeah.
But it's, like, bloody. And
it was bad.
It's so stupid.
So, yeah, no arrow in this kill, but still is definitely worth mentioning because it will continue to appear.
Yeah.
Faye got detention for kissing a teacher, right? And the detention is just taking down the decorations.
Right.
And also, everyone else involved in this also got detention. Like, is it really a good idea to put all of them together right now after they literally tried to kill each other in a fight right now? Like, and of course, it's supervised by the awkwardly flirting teachers. And like, you would imagine the guy that this girl just tried to kiss would not be welcome at this detention, right?
No.
Like, maybe let's get another teacher to supervise this detention, right?
No, that was a bad choice.
But then, this still makes me sick to my stomach. Cupid left out a plate of heart-shaped cookies. Quote, unquote, cookies, which is definitely just the flesh from that girl's back, and all of them just eat it.
My favorite thing about this was that it was obviously just like white fondant.
Just fondant with a little bit of like red on it to make it look kind of bloody.
Because like I appreciate it. I appreciate them using what they had, but it just falls apart like fondant.
Yeah.
It didn't look like flesh at all.
No, but it's also just the fact that they're like, oh, cool, cookies. They're holding these like at the very least super doughy, uncooked cookies. And they're like,
they weren't cookies.
Sure, let's eat them. Like, what the fuck? What on earth?
Also,
why would you think those were cookies?
Also, the things that Cupid is doing off camera, like setting up these cookies, are kind of wild and kooky and something I would expect from someone like Dr. Giggles or something, like a cool slasher villain, right?
Exactly.
But instead you have this Cupid character who is not any of those things, but is doing these things off camera. Like he's this silly, kooky, maniacal guy.
Yeah, but then anytime he's on camera, he's like this kind of brooding, dark, doesn't say anything, takes way too long to kill anybody kind of guy.
There was no cohesion.
Yeah.
It was very different.
It was annoying. And speaking of annoyance, Elise is still here, and she and Miss Drake are beefing pretty hard. She's like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to leave. You're not the boss of me. So she sees herself out, right? So she leaves. Now the principal is chasing after her. He's like, Elise, I'm going to tell your father. You can't just leave like this. She goes and gets into the car outside with her like older boyfriend. He's clear, like he's an adult compared to her.
She's also an adult, so he's like ancient.
Yeah, exactly. So the principal's trying to stop her from leaving, and naturally the car won't start because that's always what happens in horror movies.
We kind of yelled about this one because the way he was acting about it, he just like wasn't turning the key.
Yeah,
and he's I don't know why my car always starts.
Oh, this never happens. This doesn't happen. No,
babe,
not my
swear,
car.
Babe, I swear this never happens.
Babe, I swear this
is the first time.
Babe, this is never happened to me. I promise.
Listen. It was that energy where it's like, okay, we get it.
It's so annoying.
Dude, we get it. Your dick doesn't work.
And then we hear this like, we're like, where the hell is that coming from? Here's Cupid flying above them, and then he just shoots the principal in the head. Can we talk about the fact that every time someone got shot in this, you could tell? Because of the way that they had staged it in every shot, you can tell a person is standing in a certain
someone's
spot where they're about to get shot in the head.
You know their fate before it even happens. And it's not like the prediction of like, oh, they're going to get hit. Oh, they're going to hit. It's like, oh, no, well,
there is something about it where just the way they look on camera, they're definitely about to get shot for sure. So he kills the principal. He was shot in the head. Then he shoots the boyfriend in the leg as they're trying to run away. Then again in the back. So he's got 2 shots in him right now.
Yep.
They limp back into the school. Their phones aren't working.
But they only have one arrow prop, so you actually only see the arrow.
You really do only see one arrow at a time.
Yeah.
That's very true, actually. So, like, things are going bad. Elise is trying to tell the other students about what she saw outside. Also, well, okay, no, I guess it is detention, so there wouldn't be a school full of children. I guess that makes sense. All the lighting in the school is now green and pink. Like, instead of just the bathroom, every single room is now within that lighting.
He changed all the bulbs, not just some of them.
The boyfriend that was shot has actually this kind of neat effect going on where, like, from his wounds in him, there's this, like, veiny effect going across his skin as he's getting infected with whatever's on the arrow. It was, like, one of the better effects in the movie. Did I love it? No, but it was, like, amongst the others, it stands out as, like, that was actually pretty decent the way it looked.
Yep. I'm with you there.
Yeah. So the teacher, like the Mr. Jones, like, all right, everybody get out of here. I need to handle the dying kid. And he doesn't do shit about this kid. No. He just dies.
He just dies.
He's no help whatsoever.
I was in school to be a doctor. I know what to do. And he dies.
Yeah.
Now we know you're not in school for be a doctor.
So Cupid's calling card is just this shitty gif of a beating heart with his heartbeat going over it. Because now we're in the auditorium where everybody else ran away. And on like the projector in front of the auditorium where they've already put up a bunch of Valentine's decorations, right? There's just the same beating heart that it showed earlier when we were at the daddy-daughter in the very beginning. It showed it there too. But so Cupid's in the auditorium now doing nothing but pointing an arrow at them with his bow. Like he doesn't shoot them. He could take them out instantly, right?
Instantly.
Instead, he just like readies an arrow and then just sits there and stares at them menacing,
I feel like
right?
he was the first stunt actor they could find who could hold a bow and arrow without firing it.
Yeah, really though. And that's really all it took for him to get cast in the
they
role.
actually went through like 8 actors dying because he would hold them at hostage with
and then
the bow.
they would shoot, right? That's why probably a lot of money went into that, right? It's probably why they couldn't afford anything else in this movie. Couldn't afford more arrows. They used all the arrows.
They couldn't afford a good movie. It was really unfortunate.
So then as they all run away from Cupid into the hall, which is like arguably a more enclosed space.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cupid shoots a few of them because they're all idiots, right? And the students they're doing an awful job at staying safe from the killer because they all keep splitting up. And it keeps making them easy to like pick them off one by one because now Cupid takes out another one of the random bullies who like didn't even have a name, I think. And he takes her out by shoving a bundle of roses down into her throat. It was actually pretty brutal to watch as she's like choking and spitting up as these arrows are going down into her neck.
And the effect was almost cool.
It was I liked the idea because they come out through her neck because of like the thorns in the rose. I thought that was kind of a neat
ripped
thing.
Her neck open.
Yeah, so you see them like sticking into her mouth out of her throat. And a cool idea, right?
Definitely cool in theory.
But yeah,
it just didn't, like, you could kind of still see her breathing too. Like, it seemed like she was just fine wearing this prosthetic.
The execution leaves a lot to be desired, but I am enjoying the creativity here. Like, really, like, points for that, for doing the thematic kills all around Valentine's Day, right? For that, I am enjoying Cupid somewhat, right? Meanwhile, Faye's friend Matt was shot in the arm, and now he may be dying. So he confesses, "I've loved you since the 5th grade. How romantic. I really don't care about their relationship right now. I just kind of want to see Cupid do his stuff."
I forgot about it.
So now all of those who are alive meet up in the science room, right? And then Elise found Faye's spell book and puts blame on her, right? She's like, and Faye admits it guiltily. And she's like, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
I just want to teach to love me.
And so Elise, being annoying as she always is, she's like, you're all cowards. I'm not going to stand around and let my friends die. I'm out of here. I'm the hero. Then immediately tries to run away. She immediately her and one of her guy friends immediately try to leave the building, and it's locked so they can't. What a coward. She's the worst. Then a pretty rough, pretty ridiculous scene happens. They have to saw off Matt's arm in order to stop the infection because he got shot kind of like, more towards his wrist, right? And so they're like, the infection is spreading. If we cut it off, it'll stop the infection, right? Suddenly, Mr. Jones is like, well, before I was a teacher, I was practicing to be a doctor, right? And it's like, what? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean you were supposed to be a doctor?
You idiot.
Why did you stop?
Why'd you stop?
Because if I don't know, I don't trust you now that you're not trying to be a doctor.
This part was pretty brutal, though. They clamp his arm down to a table.
They put it in like a vice on the table. Yeah. Like, it's actually pretty brutal.
It's pretty brutal. But my favorite thing about this is while he's sawing off his arm, they have like a jug of blood and they're just squirting it onto the teacher's face.
It's almost as if they had like a ketchup bottle full of the fake blood, and literally from one controlled source, they're spraying it onto the actor, not even from where the cut is happening.
It was very obviously not from the blade.
Just random directions, and everyone is getting sprayed with like a ridiculous amount of blood.
Horrendous.
It is so insane. Also, while that is happening, or like before it happens, Cupid kills off the friend that ran away with Elise. He was just throwing Valentine's Day cards into his back and then slices his neck open with
That was pretty brutal.
That was one of the better effects in the movie. That one was actually pretty cool.
It was an effective effect.
And again, a creative kill using Valentine's cards to kill someone. I really enjoyed that one.
I love the concept that like these killers like sit there and chart out their their killing methods.
Trying to find out fun ways to do it.
I mean, Cupid's, I'm sure, pretty bored. This book doesn't get around very often.
Yeah.
The book gets around, and he like sits there on his little. I mean, he's very proficient with technology because he built that heart. And he's like sitting there. He's like, I could, let's see, sweet tarts.
I don't know.
I could shove them to people's. No, that's.
I could poison chocolates. That's not fun.
No,
that's boring.
not stupid.
How am I going to get them to eat the chocolate?
Chocolate covered strawberries, maybe.
Maybe
no,
that's it. I can dip them in a vat of chocolate. Where am I going to get that much chocolate? It's Valentine's Day. No one's got that much chocolate.
I could use my wings. Oh, that would be cool.
That'd be cool. Write that down for next year. Oh,
I could turn them into a heart. No, that's too hard.
That's dumb. I can pull out their. No, I already did the pull out the heart bit. No,
the greeting cards.
Greeting cards.
Oh, we're not a Hallmark movie.
That's something there.
Maybe uncorked cards. Yeah, that's it.
Jesus. So yeah, everyone gets sprayed with a ridiculous amount of blood, and then after that, Mr. Jones has the audacity to go up to Faye and be like, Are you all right?
Okay?
Like, yeah, the guy that just confessed he's loved me since the 5th grade sprayed a shitload of blood on me. I'm
also
fine.
I just caused the death of a bunch of my schoolmates.
Yeah, like, no, I'm totally
I'm doing great.
Right?
Thanks, teacher I'm in love with.
So through this stupid conversation, Faye tells him that they just have to survive the curse of Cupid for 24 hours, right? So they
it has not been anywhere near 24 hours.
Like hardly been an hour since any of these events have taken place, right?
Yeah.
But suddenly he looks up at the clock. There's 10 minutes till midnight. It's like, what? Wait.
Also, that implies that she started the curse last midnight.
Yeah, exactly, right?
In reality, she started the curse a couple hours ago at most.
It is ridiculous, the timing of all of this, right? It's really annoying.
There isn't any time.
Also, there's a section where like Miss Drake and Mr. Jones are just like, he's like, all right, I gotta go and save the student. She's like, don't say that. Or like, he's like, I don't know if I'll see you. She's like, say, I'll see you later. Then they start kissing.
They start like full on making out.
Right in front of Faye, who they know has a thing for Mr. Jones.
This was right after him asking if she was okay and trying to like check on her.
Like, dude, now is not the time to shove that in her face right now. Like,
look at this.
Jesus.
Check out my tongue down this broad
There's
throat.
a time and a place,
That's
right?
the vibe.
So currently we have Elise, Mr. Jones, and Faye in the hallways. They all found each other out there. And then Miss Drake and Matt are currently in the science room, right? So they've separated now at this point. And we find out, again, it is reiterated to us that Elise hates Faye because her mom slept with her dad, right? Yep. She's like, none of this would have happened if your mom didn't sleep with my dad. Like, really? Really? That's your reason?
That's the whole reason.
That's why you're such a bitch? Like, Jesus.
Let your mom have coitus.
So Cupid,
let your dad have coitus.
Yeah, right? I don't know. So Cupid is back in the auditorium now holding an arrow pointed at Miss Drake. So like apparently he captured her. There was a shot where like the camera panned away, then panned back, and then Cupid was behind Miss Drake in the science room. Almost cool. Almost. Emphasis on the almost. It's a riveting standoff, really. He's like, threatening to kill her right in front of the rest of them, right? So then Faye gets into her black magic book and summons death again. And I didn't think that would work, but it does. He's like, who dares summon me? And so she's asking him to stop it all. And Cupid is just so non-threatening. Like, we really haven't gotten much into that. He did not look that good.
No, he was just a little Twinkie boy.
The prosthetics were not that great. And he had this weird little, what am I trying to say? Shaved sides of his head and like the hair long on the top and a little top knot. Like it did not look very good. It was
just a guy with a prosthetic on his face.
I hated it. So Faye is talking with Death and he's like, you understood the price of this. You should know, blah, blah, blah. So she's basically told she either waits the final literally 2 minutes that she has to wait, or
2 minutes is enough to finish everyone within this room.
Exactly. Or sacrifice her life. I'm like, really? Couldn't just wait the 2 minutes? Like you couldn't find some way to survive? It's kind of not worth
it takes him 10 minutes to kill anybody anyway, so they're going to be fine.
It takes him so long to kill someone. So when Faye was summoning Death, she did mention, don't look him in the eyes. He can take your soul, right? So then, of course, Elise makes the dumb decision to look Death in the face. And she's like, oh no, I looked him in the face. I looked. Oh no.
I looked.
Like she just... like maybe he wouldn't have noticed if you didn't outwardly scream the fact that you looked at him, right?
Seriously.
So then Death, like she goes to Death, he takes her head in her hands, and then Cupid from behind just stabs through the back of her head, like through her mouth with an arrow.
Yep.
And so like it wasn't as satisfying as I wanted it to be.
No.
I was like,
I wanted her to get like pulled to hell or something.
Yeah, that would have
really
been
cool
if he had actually like stolen her soul in some cool way. But no, instead,
died.
Cupid just walks up and stabs into the back of her head, and then suddenly it's over. The time has been met. It is now the next day. It is February 15th. The 2 minutes passed. So everybody else survived, right? So then Matt comes in with his bloody stump arm, and he turns on the normal lights. He literally flicks a light switch, and then all the lights are now the normal white lights instead of the green and the blue and all that kind of stuff, right? So then Miss Drake goes, she puts Matt in the car, she's going to drive him to the hospital. It did make me laugh really hard, though, because I forgot that this was set in the UK. So it looked to me to me, it looked as an American, they put him in the driver's seat. And I was like, are they going to have him drive himself to the hospital with his bloody missing arm?
Why are you letting him drive? You did forget to mention, though, like when Elise is like laying on the ground dead right before this scene ends.
Yeah.
She jumps up and screams and then lays back down dead.
Yeah, no, she jumps up and screams. Faye hits her with a book like one time and she's back on the ground. It's like, what was the point of that?
Why did that happen?
Why did that need to happen? So now we're just at the end of the movie, and it is probably one of my least favorite parts of this entire goddamn film.
Oh no, it's the worst part.
So Miss Drake is in the car with Matt. She's like, I'm gonna drive him to the hospital. They're like, we'll follow you. Don't even worry, right? So remember how Faye successfully summoned the god of death, right?
Yep.
She did also cast spells to make Mr. Jones fall in love with her, but those never worked for some reason, right?
Oh, did they?
And as they're just awkwardly standing there together, it's Mr. Jones and Faye just standing there in the night. He kisses her. He kisses her. And he's like, oh no, I guess your love spells did work. He's like, you better have a way to fix this. And before she can give a response, she kind of just gives him this cheeky smile where she's like, well, I mean,
Mr. Jones,
we don't have to fix it so fast.
Maybe we could fix each other.
And then roll credits.
Roll credits.
She doesn't say anything. She just gives him this like knowing smile, but it bothered me so much. We really did not have to backtrack on the whole, like, the teacher does not have a crush on you. We're not going to go that creepy route. And then they do in the last minute of the movie.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
There were 10 kills in this movie.
10 kills in this movie.
Yep.
Cupid racked up a kill count, but kind of a small number for it being, a school.
Should have been 14. It would have been more thematic.
Would have been, oh God, that would have been so good, actually.
Yeah, but he sucks.
Yeah, it sucked. Shall we discuss our expectations for this movie? Yeah, you're right. I said uninteresting kills, and honestly, the kills were very creative a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I definitely love a themed killer.
Me too.
And they were more interesting than I thought they were going to be. So I'll give it points for that. I may have been a little wrong about that one.
For sure. My first expectation was just Birdemic. And I guess what I meant by this expectation was like, there is a certain caliber of movies that is below B movie.
Yes.
Right? There's B movie that are like movies that are bad,
yes.
right? And then there is Birdemic that is just like so dumb, so not good.
Yeah.
And I think that this wasn't quite Birdemic because Birdemic actually tried a little harder.
I think so too. A lot of aspects of this movie felt kind of lazy.
It felt so lazy. Birdemic, at least, like they were trying. I actually think I'm going to move forward, like as we go through this podcast, like with that as a scale. Like Birdemic is its own genre of movie. It's like the Birdemic genre. But anyway,
I said a cast of characters you will love to see die, and most of them I honestly didn't really give a shit about, but I did very much want Elise to die, and her death was not as satisfying as I wanted it to be, unfortunately.
Some really annoying teenage romances. More like annoying teenage teacher romances.
Really hated that. Made me very uncomfortable.
So bad.
Yeah. I said it was going to feel like a school project shot on a phone, and it kind of came and went. Some shots had a little better production value, but it definitely gave me like low budget horror movie vibe. Like if Hallmark made a horror movie, for sure.
If Hallmark made a horror movie, what would it be?
It'd be Cupid 2020.
Oh, right. Botched mythology. They didn't botch it. They just did their own thing.
Yeah, which in a sense is botching it, right? They're like, so that's how you know it. Now we're going to take their own twist to it. And that really messed it up a lot. Awful effects. And I said, the effects looked pretty cheesy, but all the gore held up decently. Like there were some that were better than others. Like the neck getting slit with the Valentines card was pretty good, not going to lie. And there were some like the cookie cutter in the back didn't look that fantastic, but so honestly, not as awful as I had assumed.
Yeah, for sure.
I still think the prosthetics on the Cupid looked pretty bad.
They were horrible. Over exposition. I mean, come on. You really think Dad would think this is okay? It's his first Valentine's Day since his passing, and you just hook up with a dad with a girl from my school? You realize she despised me for it, right?
Oh my God.
That's all you need to say.
That's really...
Because like that was just one example.
Of many.
Hundreds of times.
So many. I can't tell you how many times like I was like, Derek and I would have to look at each other like, is this really, they're really saying these things?
It felt like, this is something we could talk about now for sure. It felt like multiple times they would film a scene twice and something different would happen in the other cut, so they would just put them both in.
Yes.
They were like, okay, well, that was one shot of the teacher saying this, but I kind of like the way he said it in this one. We'll just have him say it twice.
Yeah, it was just so it repeated itself. It was just it was a mess. It was a mess. And then my final one just says an hour and 20 minutes will feel too long. And like, yes and no, it felt pretty close to the right duration, but like by the last 10 minutes, I was scared to check how much movie was left, just because I was like, it could still have a lot to go. We don't know. Things wrapped up pretty quickly though, because we did actually check it. Yeah, because we were like, how much left? We're like, oh, I don't want to check. There were only 10 minutes, and that was like
it was glorious.
It was really quick how they wrapped it up, and I still hated the way they wrapped it up, but like they got out of there quick.
They got out of there. My last one was the creepy romance of all men being gross. A little bit, but mostly like everyone was just awful in this movie, so it was really hard to parse like the men being awful. And there was that one guy character who he was he was just fine.
Yeah, you're talking about Matt, the one with the arm.
Yeah.
He was just fine. There's not much more to say about it.
I wish I had more to say about him.
Let's cover our surprises for this movie. For me, my surprises, first, the gore went way further than I was expecting.
Yeah, it went so hard.
Yeah, for being such a budget horror film, I was expecting a lot of like screams off camera or very minimal gore, but this film did take it a bit further than I was expecting. So like points for that for sure.
Yeah.
And on the kills, the creative kills of Cupid were one of the only enjoyable parts of the movie. Any killer that does kills within a theme, right, a la like Dr. Giggles or like Thanksgiving, like they have my respect. So like really points for that creativity. I love it very much.
For sure.
I was surprised by like how much movie takes place without Cupid being a part of it. Because it took 30 minutes out of like
about that.
30 minutes out of an 80-minute movie. Like that's a big chunk of it that does not even have the title character in it, right? So like it took 30 minutes after we initially saw him for him to return.
And it's not like it was even building up any suspense for it. He just wasn't there.
And then it's like, oh, now we're bringing it back into the story, right? I was surprised by how long everything took. Everything was dragged out so far that really any tension that it held was like quickly lost. Like you were talking about the first kill with the girl and like being stabbed on the arrow in the dad's leg. It's like it took so long that I didn't care anymore. If you had done it within the first 5 seconds, it would have been good, right?
It sucks to be desensitized to something that's happening while you're watching.
Exactly, right in front of you, right? Yeah. And then finally, my last surprise was just Death's voice effect was cool. I liked that.
Yeah, he also had like a cool glove.
Yeah, cool. This what am I trying to say? Corpsed up hand. I don't know.
My surprises kind of go hand in hand with yours, honestly.
That was the word.
I was not expecting this kind of gore. Like it was insane to me how much gore there was. Even some of it wasn't very good. I appreciated it that it was all practical, because 90% of the time in these kinds of movies, even in Birdemic, they would like throw that blood effect, blood spatter effect on with After Effects, and that wasn't in this one.
No.
How hilarious it was. Even if it wasn't intentional, it was so funny.
We were having a romping good time.
Many good time jokes. Like the line about I'm one of the gals. Like that, what? Us telling you about that line isn't effective.
We cannot effectively describe to you the hilarity
shock
of it
was so good. Or like when Cupid appeared behind the lady, it was so funny. Like there's so many good comedic moments in this movie. It almost felt like a comedy, but it was not.
Truly.
The pure terrible dialogue and how long it took to like get out that dialogue, like mainly from that teacher, but actually everybody. Yeah. Everybody had this, right? And then finally, I have to agree with you on the creative kills.
Yeah.
Like the creative kills, I love it. I always love a good slasher movie, so that one really did it for me.
Totally.
So yeah, what was your verdict?
Verdict for me, I'm sorry, I gotta say that was horrible. Ooh. That movie left me covering my face. You can ask Derek, literally covering my face with my hands.
You retracted
more often than I actually watched it, just out of the utter embarrassment I felt for the film. Like there were very few redeeming factors in this movie, and none of it was enough to make it watchable for me. Not only in its poor execution of horror, but also in its asinine plot with off-putting characters and its wretched acting. Like, find love somewhere else. This Cupid's arrow is pure poison.
Very good. For me, actually, that was laughable. I was torn a little bit. I wanted to make this one horrible, but I was like, no, I had fun.
Yeah.
I didn't hate watching this
We were
movie.
laughing a lot of the time.
So much fun. Cupid is a special movie. It's not quite B-movie. It's not quite Birdemic. It lives in this weird zone of purgatory where it is hilarious for all the wrong reasons.
Yep.
So if you have some friends around and a couple drinks, Cupid makes for a great time. If you were looking for love or fear, look somewhere else.
And I think we'd have to say this is another one that probably fits. I don't know if you agree, but like definitely fun with friends kind of vibe.
Absolutely fun with friends.
I think I would not recommend watching this alone.
Do not watch this movie for anything but comedic experience.
Exactly, right.
If you have nothing else to do, there are so many better movies to watch.
But if you were the type who's like, I want to watch, a really low-rated movie just to like poke fun at it the whole time, then you could probably have a good time doing Cupid from 2020.
For sure.
I was kind of. Do you have anything? Like, I was kind of just. Can we kill time? Count trivia should be here by now, but like I'm. Trivy.
Is it my turn? Do I finally get to do the trivia?
No, there's no.
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this promotion for years.
It's not okay.
Wait, where is everything?
But wait, hold on.
Where are the cards?
Okay,
I'll go.
There's nothing. Wait, no, there's one card. It's slipping under the door. There was nothing for this movie.
Oh.
There was absolutely no trivia to be found. There's not even a Wikipedia page.
That's right.
We can pull other information out. This movie doesn't exist, guys.
It's true.
So I guess this week Count Trivia is taking a vacation. He was let loose through the studio earlier in the episode anyway. I don't know if we can find him anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So no trivia this week. I'm sorry. Not even any fun goofs to riff on.
You know what? We can make up our own trivia. So during the filming of this movie, 18 people died.
Yeah, through the process of this movie, there was a whopping 18 people that died. 10 of them at the same instance, actually.
Yeah.
And the rest of them were separate.
And I've heard rumors that if you show this movie to people who are dealing with depression or dealing with love loss, then they will actually find improvement.
Yeah, it really helps them. 9 times out of 10
they could have been in this movie.
Really though, it's one of those situations where it's like, it reminds me of the story about Robert Downey Jr. about how he says Burger King saved his career. Have you heard that story?
No, I haven't.
He says because he like in his youth he used to be really into like drugs and like abusing substances and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
He says Burger King saved him because he had a burger that was so awful. It was so terrible that it made him rethink his entire life.
Whoa.
And it completely changed him around.
I need to eat less Burger King.
So this could be the movie for you.
Or more Burger King.
If you're feeling, lost love and stuff like that, watch this movie and see, wow, this could be so much worse. This is terrible. I'm going to change my life around.
Yeah, for real.
And if you say Cupid 3 times in the mirror, Cupid will show up.
No, no. Okay.
Derek died.
So next week we got something special.
I lied to you twice, actually, because I started this episode saying we had to push popcorn out a week. We actually have to push popcorn out 2 weeks. Because next week,
it's our 1-year anniversary, baby.
We will have been doing this podcast for an entire year.
We're old enough to start saying words. We're old enough to roll over in the crib.
Our very first words were whore or bull. 3 different
other
words
things that happen when you're
It was whore, and then or, and then bowl, and then we put it together. It was whore or bull.
I was either a whore or a bowl, and I chose both.
Yeah, so either or both.
So what are we watching for our 1-year anniversary?
Well, for our 1-year anniversary, things have changed. We've come a long way since our very first episode of the podcast where we watched Slender
Do
Man.
yourself a favor and just go back and listen to our first 28-minute episode.
It was
Slender
short.
Man.
It was a lot shorter.
Someone brought chips to the library.
God,
it was
such a good title, though. I still love that so much.
And we have to find a way in the next episode to riff on that. 1-year special, we brought chips back to the library.
Chips are back in the library.
Chips are back in the library, boys. No, but really, we have come so far and we've had so much support, and I'm so excited to celebrate that next week.
Yes.
With our 1-year special.
Yes.
Because we originally launched on the 19th of February, 2023, with 3 episodes. We started with Slender Man, and then
something.
No, it was Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead, was that number 2? Oh, that's right,
and then
part 2.
we watched the best movie ever made, American Werewolf in London. Oh, Bye Bye Man.
Oh, it was the Bye Bye Man.
It was
That's
Bye
right.
Bye Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we did Slender Man, Return of the Living Dead we did watch part 1 and 2, and then the Bye Bye Man. God, remember the Bye Bye Man?
I forgot about it.
An American Werewolf in Paris was episode 4.
That makes sense because 4 is a great number. 4 is the best movie ever made. So,
and this is the movie for you, that's for sure, and not for me.
So we bought a DVD Blu-ray of Slender Man. We were going to sit
get
down.
The best quality possible. We're going to rehash this movie, do it in the real format.
Chips. We should eat chips.
Oh
we
my
should
God.
do it in a library.
It's a chips party. We're going to watch it in the library.
We have to. We have to go to a library and we have to watch this. I don't know. How are you feeling about rewatching Slender Man? It's our first rewatch of the podcast.
I'm a little scared. I'm worried we're not going to have as much to talk about, but maybe we will.
I don't know. I feel like we're experts at this point, and I feel like, well, maybe not experts, but budding experts.
Yeah.
Where our discussions about the movies are a lot more broad than they were then.
They've changed up.
There's the thing that always comes to me from that episode is when we just made fun of the music.
Yeah.
And we did more than that in that episode, but we were so young.
We were so young and
in
naive.
Podcasting.
We didn't know anything, We
didn't have
any
had
worse microphones.
We had one microphone.
We had worse microphone, period.
Yeah, we were just talking to that little Yeti mic. And going back and listening to it, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's fun.
It's definitely different. I think we should definitely do a portion where we're comparing whatever our old notes were with our new
I'm gonna
notes,
go listen to
and
it
really kind of sit and compare and say, are things different? Do we still feel the same? Does it have the same ranking to us?
Well, yeah, we'll get into it more next week.
It'll be really fun, but please join us next week. We would love to see you there. And thank you so much if you've chosen to support us in this whole year that we have done this, and please continue to show your support. There are small ways you can do that. You can come follow us on social media. We got socials at Instagram at that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Wash Horrible. It has been an honor to do this podcast and have any and all of you listen to it. Thank you so much. And so we'll have a lot more praise for all of you and a lot more love to dish out on our year special. We'll talk about all the fun things that people have given us too. We've had a lot of fan art made on the podcast too.
We gotta showcase all of that next week.
Absolutely. It'll be a fun time. But yes, catch us next week watching Slender Man for the second time for the podcast. And maybe it'll become a yearly thing. Every year we'll come back to it. I think it'd be kind of fun.
I think we watch Slender Man once a year on February 19th. It's our February 19th movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, please join us next week. Garfield be with you.
Garfield be with you.
Please stay spooky.
Goodbye.